And so we continue the return for me to stay night. That said, quick reminder for everybody in chat about rules and things, as Willa needs to refresh her page because her phone does not like.
And as Willow needs to send a bunch of pictures of her cat to Bio because it's 7 o'clock.
And I don't know if Willow made sure she was muted yet, is the other thing.
I did.
Oh, cool. So yeah, quick reminder of the Oh, I think Bioman just forwarded me the one thing he sent you last week. Yep. So anyway, as I was saying, quick refresher on the rules we established when we started this a little bit last week. Willa doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So I am going to be monitoring chat like a fucking hawk and yeeting anything that's spoilers. So just beware. If I see spoiler shit, I will yeet it. I am also going to use some discretion there because I know some stuff it just isn't actually addressed in the game that is like actually useful background information. So if that kind of stuff comes up, I'll let it go. But identities, shit that is going to be plot points and hasn't happened yet, that kind of stuff, yeah, that's going to get immediately yeeted.
So before I pick up the controller, Bio has told me that all of the cat pictures he sent me this week that were all tagged as spoilers, I need to show you because, quote, reasons.
Okay.
I think Bio might have 2 new cats.
Bio, for God's sake, man. That's what, 14 now?
Unless there's a specific reason he's sending pictures of 2 random cats, but that are tagged as spoilers, but okay. So it was Exposition, right?
We are currently in the middle of Exposition as Reen is waxing philosophical on magic and how magic kind of does magic things. So, we sort of covered, the
lowercase magic versus uppercase
magic. Lowercase magic versus true magic. Dollar store bargain brand magecraft versus proper sorcery and true magic.
That allegedly she's one of 5 actual mages currently alive.
Reen is not actually a mage. I mean, she's a mage, but she doesn't have magic. She doesn't have access to true magic. There are currently 5 known magics, the first through the 5th magic, which is just how they're referred to. The family that had the first magic, we will run into at some point throughout the course of the game, although I don't believe the person we run into has access to it directly. The second magic, the successor to that family, who also, as far as I know, doesn't actually have access to it, appears in Mahoyo. The third magic is will be referenced in Stay Night, but we don't actually get to meet the person that has it. The fourth magic we know effectively nothing about. We know it exists, but the family, as far as I know, the family and or the individual that wields it has never been seen in any Tight Moon or Nasu project to date. And the fifth magic is also Mahoyo. That's like the entire story of Mahoyo is reaching the fifth magic, basically.
Okay, so before we go any further, Bio says, "We did it, Anna. We actually managed to defeat the goddess of racism, and now I can finally rest." Yeah, so about that, Ike. Do you know what a cameo is? No? Should I? Oh, you will eventually. Also, Rin is spouting off a bunch of bullshit about fundamentals of magic and magics in a totally prompted internal monologue that she's giving to herself.
For no adequately explored reason. Rin has access to true magic canonically. I mean, she doesn't wield it, is my point. Like, she is not the true... She's not the sorcerer.
Okay, so where we left off, we can shelve the difficult the topics. I'm just adding words that aren't there. That's not going to go well for me in a reading heavy game.
Cottonceps. All right, it's great.
No, my brain just switched the word topics, which is what I'm supposed to be saying, with concept.
What you need to understand is that ability to read is not a standard part of going through this particular franchise. Baz and I were never able to read either, so it's all good.
Philosophy is for the elderly.
Oh, hold on. I never actually plugged the headphones in. Let me fix that.
I was about to say, why does it sound like the volume's coming from not my headphones?
Don't mind the double audio, I'm fixing it. There we go. That's better. I didn't notice because it wasn't playing sound before.
Alright. I finish my breakfast and pick up my bag. Right, gotta bring my pendant. I'm reluctant to take something so valuable to school, but it would be a waste to leave it behind. I mean, this thing's 100 years old, and it's by far the most powerful jewel we have, I am saying aloud to seemingly no one.
Correct. She does live by herself. A giant fucking house.
One could even say it's on an entirely different level. So, MacGuffin.
Yes, sort of.
I obtained the gem after decoding my father's last night. Last night.
I found my father's final night and I decoded it. I am the greatest.
I got as far as saying that. I'm like, that can't be right. I have to have missed words. It's imbued with 10 years worth of my own magical energy. How did you do that?
Yeah, I need to clarify because it took me a second to realize what they were getting at as well. So she just decoded Tokiomi's will and accessed the pendant. I mean, you can think of it as being locked in a box, basically. She figured out how to unlock the box, got the pendant. So, what she's expressing here is that pendant currently, at the time that she acquired it, already has stored within it what is the equivalent of 10 years worth of her current magical energy. So the current magical energy she has access to in this moment, there is approximately 10 years worth of that stored in this little pendant.
This game gives me a headache.
So basically her dad left her a nuclear bomb worth of energy.
I've been told that the Tosaka family has heirloom jewels passed down since the olden days. This might be one of them.
By the way, how do you feel about backgrounds that are just touched up photos of real things? Because this game definitely has some of those because of its old jank. Yeah.
Tosaka mages specialize at the conversion and flow of power. We channel our magical energy into precious gems whenever we have a spare moment. That seems like a colossal waste of time. I'm sure it's actually not, but...
So, that concept has been used in other media. Aragon did it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you could channel the magic or your energy into, like, gems and shit to store it for later. That's essentially what's happening here.
I mean...
Is that, like, rather than having this energy that you just can't use or aren't using, and it just effectively going to waste because you have natural regen, you funnel it into something else so you have it for later.
It's a D&D Perlo power.
Yeah, basically. Exactly.
I understand the concept. It just... the way they phrase it is whenever we have a spare moment, that just, to me, goes, you don't actually enjoy your life. You just do the things you essentially have to do and then basically sit there fondling a gemstone the rest of your day.
Bio also points out correctly, it isn't a massive waste of... It isn't just a massive waste of time, it's a massive waste of money. Like, Reen lives in a big house, but she doesn't really have that much money because her family has a notorious history of spending it all on gems.
Simply put, I'm the gun, and the jewels are bullets. Yep, Perlo power.
Yep.
Okay. The other main thing I inherited from my father is the magic crest engraved into my left arm. Ouch. A magic crest is proof that I'm heir to our lineage. It's like all the techniques of the Tosakas condensed into a tattoo. Still ouch!
まだ始まったわけじゃないけど、用心に越したことはないか。
Can't let my guard down, even if it hasn't started yet.
Reen, you aren't a gun. That's someone else's gimmick. Yeah, that's Aoko's thing, Reen.
For now, I stow my pendant, my father's keepsake, in a pocket, where it surely won't go missing / get lost / get stolen.
Which pocket? Doesn't matter.
これに秘められた魔力なら、できないことはないぐらいなんだし。
It's my trump card. There's nothing I can't do with the power stored in there.
He says, speaking aloud to no one.
It's 7:30. I'd better leave soon if I don't want to be late for school. I'm not gonna try.
Oh, you can't pronounce German?
Nope. I weave energy into a brief foreign phrase. German, or as it's better known, foreign. As a mage, I can't neglect the security of my home base.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of wild to be back in Stay Night, like, literally 12 years later. But here we are. This is the Switch version. I do also have the Steam version, but it was just easier to do the Switch one for this.
I would much rather be sitting on the couch than sitting on the uncomfortable chairs in Inu's office. Let's see.
My chair up there is very comfortable.
Yes, but mine is not.
Well, anytime you want to buy me a new $300 chair for me, then you can have my
No. Maybe when I buy a new $300 chair for me, I'll give you my old $300 chair, but... Anyway, that still applies even if I've never had so much as a single burglar, lost child, or stray cat wander into my home. How often do lost children wander into random people's houses?
Surprisingly more often than you might think.
Actually, I don't think the neighbors have ever even come over to say hello.
別にいいけどね。
Fine with me.
野良猫で
But
さ
why
入って
don't
こないっ
I
て
ever
どういう
get
こと
any
よ。
stray cats around here? Have you tried putting kibble on your front porch?
She doesn't have money for kibble. She's too busy buying gems.
I look up at the mansion that's been my home for over a decade. I think to myself.
Correct.
Fuyuki is a strange city. One side of the intersection dividing the residential area is filled with samurai estates, while the side I'm on has an abundance of mansions built in the European style. Apparently, a whole bunch of foreign families immigrated here long ago, but I've never seen a single foreigner around.
Foreshadowing.
There's even a cemetery for foreigners in Shinto, the new part of the city across the river. But it was built for the generation that immigrated here.
日本の土が合わなかったのかな。
Maybe Japan just didn't suit them. I make a mental note to ask the priest about it next time I visit the church.
Oh boy, the church.
He's nothing if not full of trivia, for sure.
Oh boy, the priest. It is an anime world, you'd be surprised. Hell, she lives in a big out-of-place mansion. Random kids would probably try and sneak in as a test of courage, because spooky! Yeah,
I gather the church is an exciting place.
the church in Nasu... You know how... like, every RPG ever that contains the church... like, think of every time the church has shown up in a Tales series.
Ah,
The church is great. We love the church.
I see. Oh. Something feels off as soon as I step outside.
なんだろ
It's
う。思ったよ
weird.
り静かなんですけど。
Quieter than I thought. There's no trace of typical morning bustle. At 7:30 in the morning, there would normally be students and workers on their daily commute.
まあ、こういう日もあるか。
I guess it's just one of those days. Maybe everyone slept in. Or maybe daylight at... Wait, Japan doesn't do that, do they?
Japan does not do that, no. It's not a thing in Japan.
It's unusually cold today, so everyone must be snuggled up in bed.
I read that as smuggled. They've been smuggled into their beds.
けどさすがに。
Still, though. Even if that were true, it's strange that there isn't a single student on the street. At this time of day, you'd expect to see at least a school uniform or two. And at least one pervert following the girls.
Reen, did you come to school on a Sunday?
And yet, from where I'm standing at the school gate, it looks like morning club activities are just starting up.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
Which can only mean...
あれ遠坂
Mitsuzuri!
Oh,
今朝は一段と早いのね
you're awfully early today.
やっぱりそうきたか。
With a light sigh, I turn and face the student who called out to me.
おはよう今日も寒いねこりゃ
Morning. Sure is cold today. The girl who addressed me so casually is Ayako Mitsuzuri.
Okay, so we are doing Western order on names. Good to know.
She's my classmate in 2A. And she has quite a history.
おはよう、みつづりさん。つかぬことを聞くけど、今何時だかわかる？
Morning, Mitsuzuri. I'm sorry for the weird question, but do you know what time it is?
ん何時って7時前じゃ
It's
な
not
い
even 7 yet.
どこさか寝ぼけてる
Still asleep or something?
Yeah, Willow's gonna have a lot to do in the prologue. It's okay, because once we get out of the prologue, it's all Shirou narration, so she doesn't have to read stuff anymore. At least
Yay.
not as much.
She waves her hand in front of my face as if to ask if anybody is home. Ayako is one of my few friends, and she knows I'm not exactly a morning person. She probably figured out by now that I'm still not completely with it, which is why I'm narrating my entire life to myself.
Yeah, Willow has no fucking clue what's going on, by the way. Yeah, no, she knows effectively zero about Stay Night in general.
しかも軒並み。
The clocks at home are an hour ahead. All of them.
Yeah, Willow is now in the
目覚
position
まし
I
時
was
計
in
はお
when
ろか、
Baz and I were
柱
doing
時
this
計まで
last
きっ
time.
かり早まって
I thought it
た。
was just my alarm clock, but the grandfather clock was off too. What's going on here? Father must have set the clocks to go haywire once I took the pendant out of the underground cellar.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm sure Tokiomi 10 years ago definitely set up some kind of delayed release spell to fuck with your clocks the minute you took the pendant out. I'm definitely sure that's something your dad did. Yeah.
What's the happiest thing anyone would do?
Nasu in general, yes.
Chisaka.
気にしないで。別に大したことじゃないから。
Don't worry about it. It's no
それ
big
よ
deal.
り、みつづりさ
Are
ん
you
は
on
今
your
日
way
も
to
朝
morning practice, Mitsuzuri?
ああ 弓道部は問題児も多いし、
there's a lot of
うまいの
troublemakers
は
in
一
the
人い
Kudo
たから
Club.
ね。4月の
And
新
we're
入生
down
獲
one
得
of our
のため
best
に
shooters.
少しぐらいは
We'll
見
need
栄
to
え
put
を
on
良
a
くし
good
とかないと。
show. We're going to attract first years in April.
Oh, hey, Mar. Yeah, we're gonna hit all the Tiger Dojos. I'm gonna make sure of that.
相変わ
I
らず
see. Sounds rough.
他人事だからって言ってくれるわ。
Way to show you care.
つ
Oh,
いでだから
wanna
見て
come
く？
see? I'm sure the
どうせ
boys
か
would
見学する
love
分
to
には
know you're
男どもも
you're
喜ぶけど。
watching.
弓道部
Kudo Club, huh? I'm acquainted with 3 of its members. One is Ayako, the girl I'm talking to now. Again, I'm narrating to myself. I barely ever speak to the other 2. Of those latter 2, there's one I actually can't explain away as simply an acquaintance. I became friends with Ayako, the club captain, because I'd been watching the club from afar.
そうね様子を見るだけ
Okay,
なら付
so
き合う
long
わ
as it's just watching, I'll
早く来す
come.
ぎたからや
It's
る
not
こ
like I
とも
have
ない
anything
し
else to do this early in the morning.
よし、じゃあ善は急げ。
Nice.
早速行こ
Then
う。
let's get going.
Rin just talks to herself a lot because she has to make up for all the nobody she talks to on a daily basis. It's true. She's like one of the most popular girls in school. She just doesn't have any friends except for Mitsuzuri, basically, and like 3 idiots in her class who I don't think we ever interact with in Stay Night.
One of our school's trademarks is its well-equipped archery range. The chair of the school board has a passion for Kyudo, traditional Japanese archery, so they built a magnificent range on the campus. It's kind of a waste for a high school club, to be honest.
ほらほら、まだ開始まで時間が
Come
あるし。
on, let's go.
Not
There's
gonna
still
just
time
shoot it,
before
also.
practice starts. So I'll get you some tea. It's not Inuyasha I'm thinking of, which is an anime where periodically... No, I'm thinking of Alice 19. I was trying to... which isn't an anime, but I was thinking of the manga.
Not an anime.
I was trying to come up with what anime or manga it was, where they're the ridiculously high-scale, upscale school archery club. It's definitely Alice.
Definitely not Inuyasha, that's
I
for
was
sure.
about to say, because I don't
And
think
it-
that was a thing, but
No.
Kagome was the only bow-using anime girl that was immediately coming to mind.
You're thinking of Alice 19th, but that was never an anime.
And it needs
much
to
to
be.
my sadness.
It should be.
I want
I'd be
that.
so
I want that
happy.
anime, but you know.
Okay, sorry, had to get that thought out of my brain. It was never gonna stop bothering me.
See, guys, we're not gonna get any less distracted with Willow than we did with Baz. It's not gonna happen.
Ayako tugs on my arm, looking somewhat pleased. If I'm being honest, I can never figure out how that word is pronounced.
Brusque.
Brusque. Way of speaking, it's a bad habit.
How did you think it was pronounced?
My brain always switches where the U and the R are, so I always think it's brusque,
Nope.
which it's not.
It's not.
And I know that's wrong, which is why I don't pronounce it. Okay. As Ayako said, there's no one else at the range. We sip Japanese tea that's so hot it numbs my tongue as we prepare ahead for today's class. Okay, so nobody's there, so instead of practicing archery, you make tea?
Yes.
Or is the tea just already there and warm?
It's Japan. Tea is everywhere.
The hot drink is delicious in the quiet, wintry archery range.
No, it's only quiet until some
単調
jackass
直入に
shows
聞く
up.
けど、
Okay,
そっちの
I'll
調
get
子は
right
どう
down
なの
to
よ
it.
遠坂。
What's up with you today,
いい加減
Tosaka?
頼りになる
Did
相
you
棒は見つかっ
finally
た？
reel in someone good?
No.
And she uses the occasion to ask me something completely ridiculous.
I like Mitsuzuri starts talking with you. She's like, so how's your love life? Immediately.
本当
I mean, not unrealistic for high school girls, though. Whew. She's getting straight to it today.
その言いぶりだと
Should I
そっ
take
ち
that
はも
tone
う
to
見つけ
mean
た
you
んだ
beat me to the punch?
ノーコメント。 遠さから手を沸かすまでは
If you're not showing your cards, then neither am I.
どう
So
なの
how about it?
その疲れた顔を見ると
You being so tired is anything to go by. I bet I'm right on the mark.
No, you're like way off.
こっちもノーコメント。
No comment either. But I guess even if I tried to hide it, you'd see right through me.
残
Sadly,
念ながらこっちはまだよ。綾子の方は
what about you?
お互いのんびり
Can
して
you
る
really
余裕は
afford
な
to
いはずだ
take
よ。
your time on the romantic front? You're in high school! Bitch, please.
そうなんだけ
You're
ど
not
私も
wrong.
雲行きは
Things
怪
aren't
しい
looking
わ
good for
とり
sure.
あえず取り繕うことはできるけど
Sure, I could grab
どこが
someone
どこでしょ
just for appearances,
こ
but
の先の
quality
命運が
matters,
か
you
かってるんだ
know?
から
Shouldn't
妥協するわ
compromise
けに
when
も
my
いかない
future's
し
on the line.
I mean, you make it sound like we didn't know people that were basically married in high school.
Yeah, and they divorced not that long after.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but, you know.
I'm just saying,
Quite
rushing into
understandable.
romance.
うん
Uh-huh.
勝手に決
Are
め
you
て
that
私
worried
に
you'll
負
make
け
the
るの
wrong choice and lose to me? Also, I can't stress this enough. Romance is not a competition. It feels like it in high school, so I get why it's written this way.
But Willow, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette exist. Those are definitely competitions. Where romance is the whole point.
Okay, but I know this because I actually follow that those trashy shows. There are exactly 3 couples from over 20 seasons of each of the shows. So 40 couples, there are 3 that are still together and in a functional relationship. 3, and they're from
So
the
it
early
works is what
seasons.
you're telling me.
No, disproportionately, it really fucking doesn't.
I don't know, that sounds about the same proportion as like meeting somebody and dating them in real life. So I'd say we're on pretty much on par.
Most people don't date, if we're using the total number of seasons here, 40 people to find 3 that maybe function. Name one person you know in your life that has dated 40 people. Outside of contestants on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and even then it's only 20.
Well, I could probably do that actually.
Outside of your stupidly incestuous college club that my understanding is everyone was with everybody else and couples broke up all the time.
I mean, you have to include that though, is the thing. Also, there was no incest going on there, to be very clear. She really just asked Reed, like, man, you look tired. Were you up all night doing the fuck thing? Because I can't think of a single other reason why you'd be tired in the early morning.
Okay. Let's see.
もちろん
Obviously, the important thing here is that you lose to me. What I actually gain in the process is secondary, really. Okay, that's legit high school girl level cattiness there. She chuckles confidently.
似た
We're
者
two
同
peas
士
in a
ね
pod.
私たち。
ええ初めて会
Yeah,
った時に
I
言った
told
で
you
し
when
ょ
we met
あ
that
んた
this
と
is
は
what
そ
it'd
う
be
いう
like
関係
between
にあるん
us.
だって
She did, didn't she? Kill or be killed. I'm sure that's how it'll be between the two of us. I was genuinely surprised to have someone say that right off the bat. Translation? Our friendship won't bloom unless we're constantly trading blows. Is basically what Ayako was getting at. I agree with her. In the 2 years since then, I still haven't figured out whether she's my friend or my nemesis.
Yeah, I've known someone for 30 plus years who I have that same relationship with.
Well, yeah. He's your first/oldest friend.
And also, like single biggest rival.
Although, if we're using this metric that they're using for competition, you've massively fucking lost.
Oh, that was always going to be the case. But...
Let's see. Still haven't figured out whether she's my friend or my
と
nemesis.
ころでさ、私たち
how did
なん
we
で
get
こ
on
んな
this
話
again?
してるんだっけ
You started drinking tea.
She was asking you about if you fucked last night. Is
なんでっ
the
て
thing.
言い出したのは登
What?
坂でしょ
You started it, Tosaka.
She did not, Mitsuzuri. This was
あん
all
たがいつまで
you.
も彼氏
You
がいないの
complained
は
that you'd
女
never
と
have
し
a
てどうよ
boyfriend,
な
so
ん
we
てこぼ
decided
す
to
の
make it a
だ
contest to
な
see
ら
who
3
catches
年に
one
なる前
first.
にどっちが先に男作るかって勝負になったんじゃない
あそうだった。売
Right?
り言葉に買い言
That was
葉っ
the
てや
deal.
つだった。
We said that whoever loses had to do whatever the winner said for a whole day, right?
ええ
Yep.
今時子供で
I
も
don't
交わ
think
さな
even
い
kids
約
make
束だ
deals
けど
like that anymore.
あんたと私
But
に
we're
限って
both
往
sore
生際が
losers.
悪いってことはないでしょどんな結果になろうと
No matter what
負
happens,
け
the
た方
loser
は
has
お
to
となし
honor
く
the
勝
deal.
者に従うことにな
Gotta
る
say, I'm looking
そ
forward to
れを
winning.
思うと私は今から楽しみで楽しみで
You're right. This does feel like kind of more relaxed compared to the Mirror Moon translation. So Mirror Moon was, just to bring you up to speed on that below, when Baz and I did this originally, we were using a translation patch because, of course, this was never localized until, a few weeks ago.
Right.
So Mirror Moon was the kind of team that did the translation patch, and it was a very clinical translation. It was very literal, very direct. So you tended to have less creative dialogue, less involved or natural dialogue, right? It was much more like almost as if it wasn't, but it was almost as if it was like machine translated, like just taking it and literally translating it. Kind of the same thing that happens if you try to take Spanish and just translate it word for word, as opposed to like translating the meaning behind it into something similar.
You made yourself tea.
Yes,
Not feeling well?
fine. It's just very hot. The tea, not the temperature of the air. It was like 80 today, but never mind that.
Ayako snickers in delight. My goodness.
I knew we'd be talking about tea, so I wanted to have some.
Ayako Mitsuzuri is, to put it mildly, a handful. Again, I'm narrating to myself.
Yep, sure does.
I'll admit, I'm looking forward to winning myself, so that goes for us both.
そう
I see, but Mitsuzuri,
楽しむのは結構だけど
you can look
目
forward to
的
the
をたがわ
future.
ないよう気を
Don't
つけ
lose
なさい
sight of the goal.
勝負の内容は後先だけじゃないでしょ
There's more to our contest than being first to finish.
分かってるって
I know, it's not a real victory unless it's a relationship that makes you green with envy.
完全まあ私たちにとっては
That's
それ
the
が一
biggest
番厄
challenge
介
for
な
us
問題なんだ
both,
が
though.
どんなに
It
いい
doesn't
男だろ
matter
う
how great the guy is if we can't bring ourselves to love him. Ayako's sigh is heavy. From what I've heard, she's known as a... Oh. I read that first as mini sadist. I'm like, how are you just known as that?
Well, how would you not be known as that? We all knew Alice was a sadist.
Fair. But she's known as a bit of a misandrist. Can't put too much stock in gossip, though. That she made this bet at all means less that she just doesn't like boys and more that she hasn't found the right person. Weirdly phrased. That aside,
ちょっと
Wait,
私たちって何よ
when did this
私たちって
become we?
断っておき
All
ま
of
す
you
けど
know that I'm not an
私
ace
はそっ
queen
ちと
like
違って
you.
冷血感
I
があ
have
り
no
ません
problem liking a boy.
男の子を好きになるなんて問題でも何でもないわ
ああそれ嘘もしく
Yeah,
は気づい
not
ていな
buying
い
it.
だけ
Maybe you just haven't realized it, but I can't imagine you getting soft on a boy.
Nobody ever said she'd get soft, just that she could like someone. There's a
今まで数え
difference.
きれないぐらい告白さ
You're
れたく
always
せ
getting
に
asked out, and
一
you've
つも
never
色々
once
返事
said
してない
yes.
じゃない
You'd think that
少しで
if
も
you
興
were
味がある
actually
なら
interested, you'd at
付き合お
least
うって
date
思うで
a
しょ
few.
な
I'd
の
say
に
your
断り
record
続ける
speaks
って
for
ことは
itself.
あんた
You
は男に
don't
興味
care
がないっ
about
てこと
boys.
よ
Yeah, so far the Tsukihime translation has been pretty good. I've found. It took,
発想が貧
when
困
Baz
な
and I
ら
were recording this week,
そ
we
の場合
finally
すでに好き
found,
な
like
相手がいるから
9 weeks
断ってる
in,
って話もありじゃない
one grammar issue so far. Which is, like, way better than was done with Mahoyo, to be fair.
You have no imagination at all, do you? What if I already had feelings for someone?
おおすっごい美談
Wow,
Hey,
talk
nice
about tall
ロ
tales.
マンだな
But sure, I can appreciate a good romance. Ayako's tone isn't mocking. She nods solemnly. Versailles tells me it would be nice if it were true. I don't believe myself. I really can't hide anything from her.
そうね私もそう思う
She's right. I know very well how cold I am.
認めるわ
I'll concede that I'm a
私
novice
恋愛
when
に
it
関
comes
しては
to
素人みたい
romance.
そういうこと
That
似
you
た者
are.
同士だって言ったのも
Two
父
peas in
さ
a
んからじゃ
pod,
ん
right?
ってこの時期7時か
Damn, it's already
秘
7.
密の話はこの
We'd
辺にし
better
とこ
cut the secret
う
meeting
いつ人がやって
short.
くるかわからないし
Who
朝
knows
にな
when
ったら
someone might
学
walk
生
in
らし
on
く振
us.
る舞わないとな
Time to start acting like students.
まあ
Look at
三辻さん
you.
にもそ
What
うい
a
う世
social
間体があったなん
butterfly.
て意
It
外
was
だ
worth
な
waking up early just to see it.
これだけでも早起きした甲斐があったみたい
There are also a point a few weeks ago when they
あんたほど
mixed up
筋金入ってないけど
desert
ね
and dessert. Maybe?
私の世間体なんて遠坂凛に比べたら灯籠の斧ってもんよ、あんたの猫っかぶりは擬態っていうより別人格のレベルよ
Not as much as the great Rin Hosaka.
別人格
I'm the David to your Goliath. Your ability to fake being a goody two-shoes at school is practically an alternate personality.
I'm not playing this on my own yet. When I do, it'll probably be the Steam version, but I need to free up some time to actually do that.
Ayako sniffs exaggeratedly. I empty the rest of the teacup she poured me and brew a new pod.
で遠坂はどうして部活に入らないの
Why
よ
not join a club?
運動
Don't
神経
feed
が
me
な
the
いなんて
usual
されるこ
bull
とは
about
聞か
being
ないからね
unathletic. I still haven't
私は去
forgotten
年の
how
体
you
力測
beat
定で
me
ことごとくあんたに負けたの
every fitness test
まだ
last
恨んで
year.
るんだから
あら肺活量では三辻さんに負け
You
たわ
had me
よ
beat in lung
私
capacity
あ
though.
と体重も三辻さんのが上だ
Oh,
ったけど
ouch! Low blow!
So you can scream better and you weigh more.
Wow,
Ow.
Reed, that's just vicious.
Scathing.
やったー重さで
Yeah, I gained 3 kilos.
At least Mitsuzaru's good nature.
But-
Never mind.
体重で勝っても嬉
That's
しくない
nothing
っ
to
て
celebrate,
この
Dim.
タ
You
ヌキ
tricked me. Ayako slaps the
Oh,
table.
I thought she slapped Reed.
So did I.
危ないお茶がこぼれるでしょ
Careful, you
三
might
辻
spill
さん
the tea. Shouldn't the club captain be taking better care of the place?
うるさい
Shut it! I'm your rival first and the club captain somewhere after that.
部員がいなけりゃあんたに
There's
食って
no
か
one
かる
else
のは
around.
当
You
然よ
can bet I'm ready to take the fight to you. Ayako side-eyes me with a huff. She has a unique idea about beauty. A beautiful woman must walk the martial path. She's always going on about that. Not surprisingly, she's well-versed in most martial arts. Judo was the discipline she was least skilled at, so she joined the club and worked her way up to captain. She's probably one of the top 3 people in our school you'd least want to mess with.
あら、部員がいなければ
Should
首相じ
you
ゃないなんて
really be
問
saying
題発
that
言じ
you
ゃない
stop
それ。
being a captain if none of your club members are around?
問題発言なもんですか。
Why not? I'm only
私はお
captain
飾
for
りの首相
show.
だから
I can just
で
have
きる
the
ことって
more
言ったら
unruly
不良
members
部員
take
を
care
取り
of
締ま
any
ること
grunt
だけよ。
work.
The benefits of being in a position of power.
Low-key, I do something similar with students on a regular basis. I don't want to do this. You guys do my work.
Right. Yeah, benefit of being in a position of power,
私
right?
以上にしゃが
Delegate.
りっぱなやつがいるんだ
Plus,
から。
there's better
首相と
shooters
して
than
の
me
面目なん
anyway.
てないわ。
I don't have any captain's honor to defend.
そうなの？
That
藤
so,
村先生、三辻さんは
I
飛び
recall
抜け
Miss
てうまいって言
Fujimura
ってた
saying
け
you
ど
were。the best they had.
あの人がそう言うんなら、
Coming
そり
from
ゃ
her,
少
that's
し
a
は
bit of
自
an
信が
ego
持てるけ
boost,
ど。
but still, she's
まあ
only saying
い
that
なくなっ
because
ちま
the
ったや
guy
つのこ
who
となんて
left.
考えても仕
You're
方ない
right
か。
though. If Miss
そう
Fujimura
ね。
thinks that much
藤
of
村
me,
先
I'd
生がそう言ってくれ
better
たんな
act
ら、
like a real
真面目に
captain.
首相やんないとまずいか。
そうそう。
That's the
噂をすれ
spirit.
ば影。
Speak
Sorosoro
of the
部員がやっ
devil,
てくる
here
から
come
で
your
しょ。
clubmates now. Time for me
私
to
もおいと
go.
まするけど、
But
三
make
辻さ
sure
ん
you
は
do
きち
your
んと首相
part.
になりなさい。
I am gonna be really interested when, like, later in this game, because there was a section, and this is, it's not really spoilers or anything, but there's a section where the archery club comes up later, and there's this whole, like, commentary on the Japanese style of archery and, like, the mentality you have to have for it, and it, as I recall, it essentially boiled down to you have to shoot yourself in the head. And I'm going to be really interested to see how they phrase that, because I feel like the phraseology on that and the reason that it was so fucking confusing was that whole direct translation thing, and I feel like it's going to make a lot more sense this time around.
何見ていかないのシャ
Oh, wait, you're not gonna watch us shoot?
見てもわからない
I
も
thought you
の。
wouldn't understand
遠
even
く
if
か
I
ら
did.
眺める分にはいいけ
It's
どね。
one thing to watch from afar,
懐
but
物が
the
道場にいるわけにはい
uninitiated
かないで
shouldn't
しょ。
loiter at the dojo. Just as I get up to leave, the first club members begin entering the archery range.
おはようございます、首相。
Good morning, Captain.
ああ、おはようマト。今朝は
Morning,
一人
Moto. Are you by yourself today?
はい。力になれず。
Yes.
申
I'm
し訳あ
sorry
り
I
ません
couldn't convince him to come.
ああ、いいっていいって。
It's
本人が
fine.
弓を
If he
やらない
doesn't
って
want,
言うんなら無理
if
を
he
させ
doesn't
ても
want
仕
to,
方
there's
が
no
ない。
point in forcing him. Ayako speaks to the first club member to arrive.
それじゃあ失礼する
We're
わ。
going then. See you
ま
later,
た後でね、
Mitsuzuri.
三辻さん。
ああ、また後でね、
Yeah,
トサカ。
later, Tosaka.
お疲れ様です。
Have a good day,
Tosaka-senpai.
Tosaka.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
さくらもしっかり
Hang
ね。
in there, Sakura.
See you later, Sakura. We'll be seeing more of her.
I leave the dojo behind so as not to get in the way.
いやあ、遠坂。おはよう。朝から君に会えるなんてついてるな。
I take it you don't like him.
You'll see why very shortly.
Oh, I don't need to read that.
No. It was already voiced. I don't really feel the need to.
No, and here comes the person I least wanted to see.
おはよう、マト君。今日は早い
Good
ね。
morning, Mato. You're here early.
当たり前だろ。首
Of
相
course
なん
I
だから。
am. I'm the
早めに来ない
captain.
と一
So
年
I
に
need
印
to
がつ
set
か
a
な
good
いじゃないか。
example for the first years. But isn't
Yes. First clue. This man is very full of himself.
Shinji Mato from class 2C grins at me.
This guy.
He's the vice captain of the Kyudo Club and darling of half the girls at school. It's mostly thanks to his looks, of course, but he's also admired for his good grades, social graces, and being kind to girls, and being an overall heartthrob. Or something like that. I really don't follow that kind of stuff. It's just what I hear my classmates say.
そうご機嫌なところ悪いんだけど
Hate
一
to
文
burst
字
your
抜けて
bubble,
るわマト
but
君
I'm pretty sure you're
大事
forgetting
な
an
字だから
important
忘
part
れ
of
ない
that
方がいいと思
motto.
うけど
Try to remember next time.
一文字抜けてるって何がさ？
幸福の福
Vice.
字は違うけど響
I
きは
don't
一緒で
care
しょ
whether you're
副首相
captain
さ
or vice captain,
気をつけなさ
but
い
if you make a point
別
of
に首相
leaving
も副
out
首相も変わらな
or
いけ
of
ど
leaving it out,
変に意識す
people
ると
might
こ
think
だわって
it
るみたい
bothers
に
you.
聞こえるでしょ
Vice captain.
そうだね。今後は気をつける。ありがとう、遠坂。
お礼を言われるようなこと
Not
はして
sure
な
I
い
did anything you should thank me
ま
for.
あま
But
だ君が
hey,
そう思ったの
I'm
な
not
ら
gonna stop
私
you.
には関係ないか
With that, I turn to leave the range.
ちょっと待てよ。見学に来たんだろ。なら見ていけばいいじゃないか。遠坂なら大歓迎だよ。
遠慮するわ練習の邪魔をした
Don't
く
want
な
to
いのよ
interrupt your practice.
そんなの構わないよ。他の連中が気に障るんなら締め出すからさ。ちょっと寄っていけって。
だから邪魔をする気はないって言ってる
Already
でしょ
said I don't want to intrude.
それに私別に弓道
Not
に
that
興味
I'm
があるわけじゃない
particularly
から
interested in Kyudo.
知らないやつの試合を見ても
I'm
嬉し
not
くないわ
really excited to watch a bunch of people I don't know shooting arrows.
なんだよ、遠坂。弓道に興味はなかったのか。
Pretty sure she just told you that, dickweed.
だっていうのに、放課後になると遠くから見てたのは、そういうわけかな。
I don't know what he's playing at, but he seems to have seriously misunderstood things.
なんだ知ってたのマト君
So, you knew motto.
ああ、
That is
よく
not
目
the
があったんだ
spacing
ぜ
on that.
僕と遠坂。
The comma is after new,
斬新の時に限
not
って
after so.
遠坂は僕を見て
Doesn't matter. Anytime I see a sentence start with so, that's where my brain puts the comma.
Yeah, that was so you knew Mato.
Yeah.
Not so you knew Mato.
Well,
He is Mato.
let's see. Yeah, our okay.
声を返したかったけど、一応決まりでね。車上では声を上げちゃいけないんだ。
Too close. Shinji starts closing in on me, looking quite pleased with himself. I see the triumphant glint in his eyes, repeating,
Yeah, that says competing.
okay, with that affable smile. My brain was like, shouldn't that say completing the affable smile?
No. Nope.
勘違いしてたよ。遠坂は弓が好きなんだと思ってたけど、弓道には興味がないんだろ。ならなんで遠坂は道場を見ていたのかな。
Now I see. It would sound like that, wouldn't it?
離れてくれないかしらマト君
Would you
私
mind taking a
あま
step
り人
back,
に近寄られ
Mato?
るのは好きじゃない
I
し
like my personal space.
ん？なに？遠坂。
あきれたここまで言ってもわからないのね
You're still not getting it.
趣味じゃないけど仕方ない
This
さ
isn't my usual style.
簡単
And
に
I guess
あ
if
なた
it's
にも
what it
理解で
takes.
きるように言ってあげる
Here, I'll make this real simple, so that even you can understand.
いいマト君私は弓道
I'm
に興味
even
がな
less
い以上
interested in
に
you
あなたに興味
than
が
I
な
am
いって
in
言ってるのよ
I don't
実際あなたが
I
車
didn't
上
even
にい
know
た
you
なん
were
て
in
今
the
初め
club.
て知ったぐ
I
らいだ
doubt
し
I'll remember
きっ
next
とこ
time
れからも目
either.
に入らないわ
I
なんだと。
I must have touched a nerve. Because he tries to grab me roughly. I twist out of his reach and turn to leave.
Shinji with them grabbing hands.
それじゃあね、マト君。自意識過剰なのも結構だけど、ほどほどにしておいた方がいいわよ。
Bye, Mato. Sometimes a little self-consciousness can do you good.
遠坂、お前。
Shinji owned count 1. Yeah.
Shinji sounds like he's about to say something. But he keeps his temper and doesn't chase after me.
I mean, he did try to grab you just a moment ago.
This guy's all style, no substance. Like most high school boys are. If he had even a little backbone, then people around him wouldn't suffer nearly so much. I take the rear entrance into campus from the archery range. It's past 7 now. But there still aren't students in the hallway.
Taiga!
さんだ。
Susaka.
おは
Good
ようござい
morning,
ま
Miss
す、藤村
Fujimura.
先生。おはよう、東坂さん。
Yep,
ちゃんと
good
挨
morning
拶し
to
てく
you.
れて、先生
I
は嬉
just
しい
love
よ。
how you're so polite to teachers like me. A strange woman pretends to sob in delight.
Can you tell? Can you see how much she's sobbing from her cheery smile?
Have you never seen the crying while smiling emojis? It may be hard to believe, but this extraordinarily affectionate and happy-go-lucky woman is actually a teacher here.
先生、 ちゃんと挨拶をする以外に
Is
す
there
る
another
挨
way to
拶
say
はあ
good
るので
morning?
しょうか。あるわよ。
There
1年生
sure
はちゃん
are.
と挨
The
拶
first
してく
years
れる
all
んだけ
greet
ど
me
ね。
properly, but
上級
once
生
they're
になってくると、
upperclassmen,
私の名字で
stop
挨
using
拶
my
しないんだか
surname.
ら。
Don't
東
follow
坂
their
さんはああ
example.
いうやからの真似しちゃダメだからね。
Also, speaking from the perspective of someone who works in a school, there are definitely other ways of saying good morning. There's the completely ignore the teacher saying hello to you. There's the half grumble a murmur to something. There's the partial wave. There's the excited wave. And then there's the run over and hug.
No, my favorite was one that I learned back in college that came from a story that somebody was telling in the office one time. And it's sort of a half German, half English greeting, where you just walk up to somebody and you go, "Guten Morgen, asshole, how are your tits?"
No.
It's
Although-
a great greeting.
Although, probably my favorite greeting I've ever gotten in my professional career, and I've told Inu this story, but at the time, my supervisor ran an after-school program in a high school, and I was over there for supervision. She'd stepped out of the office, so I was just in her room by myself, and a student comes in, big, tough-looking high school kid, clearly on the football team, wearing his uniform. Walks in and goes, "Yo, miss, where's my juice box?" And I'm like... I think what I did was I turned, looked at him, took in everything, and then started laughing.
The correct response to that was, "Guten Morgen, asshole, how are your tits?" I guess I talked about that one before in Hollow Interaction. I don't remember doing that, but...
Okay.
はあ、よくわかりません
Not quite sure I
けど、
understand.
先生に失礼なことはしませんが。よしよし。ああ、
Good girl.
みんながみんな
I
遠
wish
坂
there
さ
were
ん
more
みたい
like
だ
you,
ったらいいのに
Kosaka.
な。
Accurate. That is 100% how teaching... So, I have a really unique perspective on games like these, because I've both been a student, work with students, and have been in a teacher role, so I understand that perspective too.
You know you're older than Fujimura here?
Yeah, that's not surprising. Also, don't call me old. With a parting wave and to see ya, Miss Fujimura leaves.
I mean, you gotta be like, what, 40 now, right?
No, I'm 31, you fucking asshole. I am your younger sister. How could I be 40 when you're... Hang on, my brain's not mathing. 34? Is that right?
I don't know how old I am. I stopped counting.
What's funny is I actually usually figure out my age by figuring out your age first.
I can only figure out my age by proxy of other people. Like, I have to do math. Anytime anybody asks me how old I am, I'm like, hold on, I have to do math.
So here's the thing. It's easier for me to do the math for your birth year from the present year than for me to do the math from my birth year to the present year.
Because of a weird non-standard greeting involving the cool maid. Oh, yeah, okay.
We're not boomers.
I mean, in internet terms, we basically are. Let's be honest.
Fortunately, she isn't my homeroom teacher. Miss Fujimura teaches English. Her sunny attitude belies her expert rank in Japanese fencing, kendo. In her student days, they called her the Fuyuki Tiger. That's the mystery, though. You'd think someone known as the Tiger would be feared, not adored, right? Miss Fujimura cheerily heads off in the direction of the archery range. For some reason, she's the faculty advisor to the Kyudo Club instead of the Kendo Club.
Yeah, the Kendo prodigy is, for some reason, the...
Archery Club.
Archery Club advisor, yeah. Weird, right?
It's just before 7:30. I can see students doing their club activities on the school grounds. There's hardly anyone indoors. Except...
Oh, right, Issei.
He always blurts out my name like I did something wrong every time he sees me.
あら、生徒会長。
Well,
こんな朝早
but
くから
isn't
校
the
舎の
student
見回
council
り
president?
それと
It's
も
a little
各部
early
室
for
の手入れか
patrolling
しら。
campus, isn't it?
どっちでもいいけど
Or
相
are
変わ
you
らずだ
maybe
ね。
fixing
そう
up
い
the
うと
club
こ。
rooms? You're diligent as always. Not that I care. So she totally likes him, right?
No. No, she and Issei get on like oil and water.
Here's the thing. The reason my brain immediately goes there is that, not that I care, is 100% a thing high school girls, especially, like middle school and high school girls do, especially to hide whether or not they like someone. So it would be like, so what are you doing after school today? Not that I care.
Yeah, no, Issei and Rin, they work together, but they don't like to work together. Like, they're not friendly.
I mean,
Per se.
Bio is under the impression that Issei wishes.
Yeah, everyone wishes they were with Tosaka, to be fair. She's that girl in school, the one that everybody wants and nobody gets.
そういうお前こそ何を企んでいる。部活動もしていないお前がこんな早くに何の
Well,
用か。
my dad accidentally 10 years ago magicked all the clocks in the house to be set an hour behind as soon as I accessed a gemstone that I had to decode his will to find.
Yeah, so that's certainly what they've led you to believe. The anime adaptation makes it a little bit more clear that it was actually her process of unlocking the magical gemstone that fucked up all the clocks, so it's really her own fault. She just doesn't
ただの
realize
気まぐ
this.
れよ。リュウド君ちみたいに早起きじゃないもの、私。
I'm not an early riser like your family, Ryudo. Student Council's president's handsome face darkens with suspicion. See, she called him handsome!
Well, yes, that's objectively true. However, that does not mean she has any affection towards him.
He does seem to have it out for me. I really don't know why. Maybe me saying temples are so dull pass is what started it.
一つ聞いておくが、最近夜遅くまで校舎にいたことはあるか、遠坂。
ないわね。私が帰宅部だって知ってるでしょ、リュウド君は。
当然だ。生徒会長を任された以上、全校生徒の情報は把握している。
そう。なら私に聞くまでも
I'm
な
not
い
sure why
で
you
しょ。
bothered asking
なんだ
that.
ってそんなことを聞
I
くか
hope
知ら
you're
ない
not
けど、
trying to
生
pawn
徒
your
会の仕
student
事を
council
部
work
外
off
者に
on
押し付けちゃ
others.
まずいんじゃない？情報収集は一人でやりなさい
And
よ。
your fellow students
私み
yourself.
たいな部外者に頼
Don't
ら
ask
ないで。
me. Not. Sorry, it's got nothing to do with me.
たわけ、お前のどこが部外者だ。うちの会計の首根っこ掴んで悪さをしたのを知らぬと思ったが、このめぎつれ。
あら、人聞きが悪いわ
Well,
ね。
that was uncalled
あれは
for.
三辻さんに頼まれて
Tsuzuri
部
just
費の
asked
割合を
me to
明らかにしただ
publicize
けでし
your
ょ。
club budget allocations.
みんなの予算がどこに使われているか調べ
Don't
る
the
なんて
students have a right to
生
know
徒
how
として
their
当
funds
然
are
の行為
being
だと思うけ
spent?
ど。
なんと、うちの会計を1週間休ませた精神的ダメージが当然の行為なのか。とんでもない倫理観をお持ちのようだな、相変わらず。
Or
あなたも
treasurer.
ね、部下の手綱ぐらいちゃんと
Look
握
who's
ってなさい。
talking. You want to keep your staff on a tighter leash.
文化系ばかりひいきするのは
Being
フェアじゃ
favorites
ない
with
わ。
the cultural club doesn't seem fair to me.
わかっている。だからこそ俺の手で不正を正したかったのだが。
Ah,
Just then, an unexpected visitor makes his presence known.
now this was about the time when Vaz and I played this originally that I made a deeply unfortunate analysis of that guy on the left based on first reaction.
Uh-huh.
Can you take a guess as to what my immediate gut reaction to seeing that man was?
Nope.
Because it was along the lines of, who the hell is this anime-ass Ron Weasley-looking motherfucker? Which does not do justice to our precious boy over there. He is the best, and we love him. That right there is our actual protagonist. This is like the actual main character. Go to the audio to fix... What?
Here you go. That sounds like a you problem.
Hold on. What do you mean go to the audio to... I don't understand. Settings, right? Yeah. Display controlled.
Is it in advanced settings?
Display smooth text. Skip skip previously text fade out. No. Until display.
Sound settings is a tap over.
Oh, yeah, good. Volume mix, lower, no. Skip, stop, no. Match. Wait, I swear I looked at these last week. Oh, you absolute whorebags. Why the hell? Why in God's name would you do this? Hold on, I need to figure out where the... Unmute! For God's sake, why are you muting Shirou? Is anybody else muted? Okay, nobody else is muted.
According to Kevin, every character you have to do that.
No, other characters are definitely not already muted. Like, we didn't have to do that with Mitsuzuri, we didn't have to do that with Rin. It's just Shirou that they've gone ahead and muted. We didn't have to do it with Taiga, or Sakura, or Shinji. Alright, well, whatever. It's fixed now.
Oh,
Issa,
I don't know why
Sure,
you
you
have a
want this
mystery new on you. 1, 2, 3. But,
Oh, you're just now noticing that.
yes.
No, that's been a thing for years.
But...
Yeah,
Issa,
there's the actual
sure
voice
you
line.
want this.
There's our precious boy's
but
first appearance.
At any rate, they said that Shirou's the self-insert, so he doesn't need a voice, was the remaster logic.
Ugh, so dumb. Anyway, it's fixed now.
と、悪い。頼んだのはこっちなのに、
Sorry, Emiya.
エミヤに任せっきりにしてしまった。
That's Issei. That's not Rain.
Look, my brain doesn't process a lot of the dialogue unless I actually hear it in English. Like, I've been hardcore struggling with watching anime lately if I have to read subtitle. It's been a very real problem.
そんなこと気にするな。で、次はどこだよ。あんまり時間ないぞ。
Issei, there's no time.
ああ、次は視聴覚室だ。前から調子が悪かったそうなんだが、この度ついに天寿を全うされた。天寿全うしてたら直せないだろう。買い直した方が早いぞ。
I would assume it's because Shirou talks so goddamn fucking much, but if you don't have the sound of his voice permanently ingrained into your mind by the time you're done, then you're playing it
一応見
wrong.
てくれると助かる。俺から見れば臨終だが、お前から見れば仮病かもしれん。
I mean, I just know for a fact there's no way I can do delivery on some of the lines from Shirou, especially later, that would do anywhere near justice to what they require.
そうか。なら試そう。
Beckoned by the other student, the president leaves. I'd stopped thinking during the sudden turn of events. The other boy, wrench and screwdriver in hand, turns as if he's remembered something.
朝早いんだな、遠坂。
He awkwardly mutters and leaves. Was that supposed to be a greeting? The president and the student called Emiya walk off into the distance. That would be Shirou Emiya from Class 2C.
Fire says there aren't a lot of JP voices I recognize at instinct, but Shirou fucking Emiya sure as shit is one of them. Bye, Shirou. See you later. Yeah.
Perhaps that's all it was. How do I put it? That wrench looked right at home in his hands, but I'm not sure if it's because it makes him look tough or handy. Okay. 7:30 a.m. There's nobody else in classroom 2A. Take a seat at my desk and flip through my math workbook. There's still 30 minutes until morning homeroom. I've got time to kill until my classmates... Oh, start arriving. My brain didn't see the word start.
Are you okay? Did you smell toast?
No. But my brain completely skipped the word start. So my brain was going, I've got time to kill until my classmates arriving. And the pause was me going, that's not proper English.
Of course not. Rin is Japanese.
Classroom is lively as lunch break begins after fourth period passed. Wait, so we're skipping all of class.
Oh, who cares? It's not relevant. Also, I like that Rin's lunch period is apparently the same as my lunch period was for all of high school.
I hate it.
I had fifth period lunch for all of high school.
I hated first lunch. I only had it once.
First lunch was best lunch, man. If you wanted double lunch, you didn't have to worry about it because there was still plenty of lunch. And it was just the people later in the day that got over if you did that.
No. Last period lunch got all, the last lunch period got all of the extra food because they didn't give a shit about having to try and hold on to it anymore.
All you had to do was know the guy serving stuff and you got free things anyway.
I mean, that is part of why I enjoyed the taco bar as much as I did. My school has a cafeteria, so only about half the students stay in the room. It's mostly girls that stay behind. The girls think the cafeteria is a bit too liberal with the seasonings, so...
Saigusa!
Chisaka, would you like to have lunch with me? We girls tend to enjoy our lunches as a group.
ありがとう、三枝さん。けど
I'm
ごめんな
sorry
さ
I
い。
can't say Gusa.
私今日は
But
学食
thanks
な
for
んです。
asking. I'll be
今朝は
eating
寝
at the
過ごしてしまっ
cafeteria
て
today.
お弁当を
I
作る余
overslept
裕が
this
なかったも
morning,
のです
so
か
I
ら。
didn't have time to make lunch.
We're gonna see the rest of the idiot trio, or is it just Saigusa that shows up this time?
いや、そうなんですか。ごめんな
Of
さい。
course.
そうと
Sorry
も知
for
らず呼び
ambushing
止
you
めて
with
しまっ
that.
て。私、
Sayusa
余計なこと
looks
しましたね。
guiltily at her feet. Among the refined and well-behaved students in Class A, she's the most demure. For some reason, she's really nice to me.
余計なことだなんて、そんな
Nothing
こ
to
とはありませ
apologize
ん。
for. I just
今日
didn't
は
have
たまた
time
ま
to
だ
make
か
a
ら気に
lunch
しない
today.
で。
Please,
また
ask
明
again
日これに懲
tomorrow.
りず声をかけてください。
I let her down as gently as I can, and offer a genuine smile.
はい。でも、
Okay,
遠坂さんでも過
so
ごす
even
ことが
you
ある
sleep
んで
in
すね。
too, huh? Perhaps my smile made her feel better. Sagusa turns back to her table, looking relieved. She's adorable.
She is. So Saigusa's not really in this game, but she is very cute.
Yukika Saigusa
Yuki, yep. Yukika.
isn't drop-dead gorgeous, but her smile always puts everyone around her at ease.
ええ、そうなんです。
It does happen.
なんとかごま
I
かして
don't
ま
let
す
it
けど、
show, but I'm
本当は
really
寝ぼ
not
す
a
けなん
morning
ですよ、
person.
私。
I can't get
部
up
活だっ
early
て
enough
朝
to
起
be
き
in
られな
any
いから入っ
clubs.
てないんです。
Sagusa somehow maintains an elegant air, even when startled. Watching her reactions is always so calming. That doesn't mean I have time to just stand around here and talk. If I keep up conversation with someone so disarming, the real me is bound to show herself.
それじゃあ食堂に行ってきます。
I'm off to the
三枝さん
cafeteria
もごゆ
then.
っくり。
Enjoy your lunch.
はい、遠坂さんも。
You too, Tosaka. Sagusa and I exchange some graceful greetings, and she returns to her friends. I see that she's eating with Kaide Makidera and Kane Himura.
Okay, so we will at least mention Maki and Himuro.
Oh, right. Wasn't Sagusa the track and field club member?
Manager.
I was about to say, that makes it sound like it's a track and field club of exactly one student. She's really just a kid running around campus. Makidera and Himuro are the track and field club's rising stars. Makidera is a bad influence with whom I go window shopping on days off, but I don't know Himuro too well.
Oh, hey, Maki does show up. Hi, Maki.
だから言ったでしょ遠坂は弁当持ってこないって
Nope,
釣りたか
not
ったら
bothering
あい
with
つの
that
分も
one.
飯用意しないとね
Good old Maki. Yeah, Himuro shows up too.
それは私たちも食堂に移動すればいいだけの
Cafeteria for
話で
two then?
These girls just want to hang out with Reed so bad. It's like, nah, man, I'm going to eat lunch.
ダメダメ食堂は
Well, it's too
狭いんだ
cramped
か
in
ら
there
弁当組が
to
座れるスペ
share
ースなんて
space
ね
with
っての
us brown
それ
baggers.
に遠坂と
Plus,
同席してみ
it's
なさ
really
い
annoying how the boys
男どもの
stare
視線
when
が
you sit
うざい
next to
のなんの
Tosaka.
前の休みだってさ
The last
二人
time
で遊び
we
に行った
hung
の
out, she
に
hugged
あ
all
いつ
the
だけ得しちゃ
attention.
ってさ
No
や
for
だ
achiever
よ
and
ね
all.
美人を鼻にかけた優等生は
Take it.
Maki, a bad influence? What's next? She gonna tell me it's a day ending in day? Yeah, well.
Makidera takes hold of Saigusa's desk as she continues to rant about me. Despite her foul mouth, she actually wears a kimono really well. That has nothing to do with how someone talks. Could wear a kimono. I need somebody to help me put it on, but
I don't know about that.
like a picturesque Japanese beauty.
牧野氏君の陰口は
Maybe
遠
it
坂
sounds
城
like
に聞こえているよう
you're
だ
saying, Lady Tosaka.
Himuro is kind of weird. Don't worry about Himuro.
Meanwhile, Himuro's cool and solid demeanor are a complete foil to that of Makidera.
やべ遠坂に聞かれたゲゲ
Did she hear
め
me?
っちゃ睨んでるじゃん
I bet she's
あい
totally
つ
glaring at me. I don't like her.
Maki's fine. The good news is, we don't really have to deal with the idiot trio this game, but they are featured quite heavily in the sequel game.
マキちゃんを睨んでなんかないと
I
思う
think she's glaring at you.
睨んでんだよあれ
She's
あいつ
totally
笑ってる
shooting
時が
lasers.
一番怖いんだ
The
から
scariest when she's smiling at
な
you.
んだよいいじゃん
I'm
か
still
口ぐらい
behind. We're
多
pals,
めに見ろよ
remember?
私
Patrice
と
used
遠坂の仲
Sayaki
だ
that
ろ
one time.
たい焼きおごってやっただろ
Kaide Makidera puffs her cheeks out in a pout, waving her disposable chopsticks in the air. Would you believe that her hobby is collecting wind chimes? The world works in strange ways.
Collecting wind chimes.
I mean, I have 4 wind chimes on my front porch. At any rate, it's rude to Saigusa to stare at the 3 of them. But between me and the foul-mouthed Makidera, Saigusa looks like she doesn't know what to do with herself.
気にしないでいいのよ三枝さん
It's alright, Saigusa.
それと牧寺さおごらされたのは私で
Makidera,
品物
I
は
was
たい
the
焼
one
き
who
ではな
treated
くクレープ
you
でした
to crepes.
無意識に事実を改ざんする悪癖
You really ought to
次あたり
fix
に
how
直さない
often
と
you
考
work
えますよ
in hyperbole.
Hyperbole.
マジ怖えあの笑顔
That smile scares the daylights out of me. Akidara holds up her lunchbox lid like some kind of shield.
Save me, lunchbox lid. Protect me from the evil woman.
I bid the odd trio farewell. Leave the classroom. And slide the door closed. I don't know if that needed to be a separate.
Goodbye, idiot trio. We'll see you again in Hollow Ataraxia.
Oops.
なんだよ、大差ないじゃんか、たい焼きもクレープも。どっちも甘いの皮で包んでるんだからさ。
I mean, they are both sweet things wrapped in carbs. That's technically accurate.
But taiyaki, I mean, I do like taiyaki quite a lot.
I don't know that I've ever actually had taiyaki.
You tried some the one time when we went to the Japanese place downtown for your birthday, and
Oh, yes, I did.
yeah, no, Mom and I got taiyaki that day, so you tried some.
But taiyaki vastly inferior to mochi. You can get more flavor variety in mochi.
You can get quite a lot of flavors of taiyaki if you're not at a place that only has one. No, I guess they had two varieties of taiyaki, but put just about anything in taiyaki you really want to.
Akidara utters something blasphemous for a girl.
たい焼きとクレープが同じですって
Taiyaki and crepes are the same. Is she even human? Are all desserts the same to her? If I'd known that her taste buds can't distinguish Fleur's 500 yen very berry from an 80 yen taiyaki at Edamaya. Damn you, Kaide! Could have saved 420 yen!
Oh, Reen.
Crepes are delicious, though. Crepes are excellent. They're a pain in the ass to make properly, though.
何本気で悔しがってるんだ私
What am I actually getting upset for?
I mean, don't you basically just make a really thin omelet and then put shit in it?
It's more akin to a really thin pancake, actually. Must still be tired from last night. Cafeteria sounds like a pain, so I'll just buy some bread from the counter and eat on the roof.
Ah, she's going to the roof.
Roof bread.
Roof bread.
I purchased my lunch, namely
Bread.
bread.
Bread. But it's probably some kind of special flavor. You have to remember, Japanese schools sell a lot of flavored breads for some reason.
And head to the unoccupied roof. Are you really supposed to be up there?
Anime tells me no, that it's pretty much where delinquents hang out, and it's supposed to be off limits, but I don't know.
Let's see. Though it's different in the summertime, during the winter, the roof is a convenient place to eat that other students tend to avoid, because it's the roof!
Also, here we're introduced to one of Reen's smaller quirks that stems from her spending so much damn money on the gems she needs for her magecraft. She's frugal as shit, and everything that's not gems, basically.
It's cool to hang out here during lunch, but that's a small price to pay for privacy.
さてとりあえずご飯と
Time to eat. And nom.
Nom 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 nom.
I indulge in the tomato sandwich and hot lemon drink I bought from the cafeteria.
Tomato sandwich.
Tomato sandwiches are excellent.
She didn't say there was mayo.
Well, yes.
I'm
which
pretty
means-
sure if you just stick tomato on bread, it's just kind of sad.
I was about to say, that is notably sadder than having a tomato and mayo sandwich. But tomato and mayo sandwiches are excellent.
Well, yeah, tomato, mayo, a little bit of like maybe
Garlic salt.
pepper if you're so inclined. Just a little black pepper.
If you really want to be fancy, you can add in a little bit of cucumber, and that's also excellent.
Gross.
But
You've ruined it. Soiled it.
bio, oh boy, raw tomato with bread and hot lemonade. What a lunch!
A hot lemon drink. Yeah, that would sort of slip past me. It's not like lemon, not like hot tea with lemon. No, it's just hot lemon drink. Like somebody made lemonade and then boiled it for some reason.
That straight tomato sandwich is a struggle.
Yeah, agreed, right? Imagine how much cheapskate Reen would save if she used her super cooking power to somehow whip up food herself. Yeah.
Simple lunch, made all the more delicious by the fact that I can enjoy it pure in peace. I finish the sandwich and sip on the warm, lemony drink. I'm a little tired.
Just a little.
It's hard to balance being an overachiever with avoiding human contact as much as possible. As the saying goes, one should be accomplished at both pen and the sword. It's a point of pride, no, conviction, that I be the top student of the school. I decided that if I was going to be a student, then I'd be the very best. I don't want people looking down on the Tosaka name. That's how Rin Tosaka came to be a perfect, flawless student.
No flaws whatsoever.
On the other hand, my occupation as a mage is dangerous, so I shouldn't associate too much with normal people.
I wouldn't call that an occupation, Reen. It doesn't really pay you.
When a mage is discovered by the public, she has no choice but to eliminate witnesses to protect herself.
Yeah. So the rules are normal people can't know about magic, and if they find out, kill them. Leave no witnesses.
That seems excessive.
Tell that to the people of Salem.
They weren't witches. That was hysteria. There's a difference. Am I remembering correctly? Was there a TV show called Hysteria?
Yes. I reference it all the time, and nobody remembers it but me.
I half feel like I'm remembering a theme song.
Now's the time to watch
Yeah,
Hysteria.
yeah,
Just
okay.
like people in Bulgaria, it's a show that's beyond comparia, etc. I have
okay.
most of it committed to memory, actually. But nobody remembers the show but me in general, and I reference it for, like, anytime. I'm sure you've heard me do it plenty of times, and I know I've done it in videos before. That whole, "You are correct, sir." That comes from there.
Yeah. Sometimes when the word hysteria gets said, just that little bit in the back of my brain goes, you're thinking of a theme song that has the word hysteria in it. That's not the name of a show.
Sure was. It was a variety comedy sketch cartoon show for kids.
So I'll have the Amanda show.
More like the Animaniacs, which I think aired on the same channel. I'm pretty sure it was also WB.
I'd rather not resort to that. That's why I keep my social interactions purely superficial, out of necessity. I only hang out with Makidera on my days off, and I turn down invitations from more sociable people like Saigusa. It's difficult walking the tightrope of being the #1 student at school while making sure I don't become anybody else's #1.
Make no friends, because if they find out your secrets, you have to murder them in their sleep.
And sure, there are times when it tires me out and I feel like life is a real drag.
もう時間か。
I'm ready. I finish the hot lemon drink and stand up.
Oh shit, I gotta go back to class. Just downs an entire thing of boiling hot lemonade.
That's enough sentimentality for today. Time to go back downstairs and become Rin Tosaka again. So,
Who were you on the roof exactly? Not Rin Tosaka.
also, it's a weird thing for my brain to go back to, but I'm really surprised that in Bio's recap of the end of the last game, Anna didn't insist on calling Ike
Chief Ike, yeah. Fucking Chief Ike. Still not over that.
Nope. That was the intrusive thought of the
ホー
day.
ムルームを終了する。日直は西と戸締まりの確認を。
That's a fancy looking teacher.
部活
Yeah,
動のない
that's
生
Mr.
徒は
Yamashiro.
速やかに帰宅するように。
Class 2A's teacher gives his usual spiel, and the class leaves the room. As far as I know, he's said it exactly the same way all year. Because routines are important. Teachers know students thrive when there's consistency.
遠坂
Or Kazuki.
今日はもうお
rather.
帰り
Yeah, hold on. Soichiro. Yeah, no, Yamashiro is the one from Mahoyo. Sorry, I had him on the brain. No, that's Kuzuki.
Naka, are you going home already?
ええ。
Yep.
朝方
Gotta
マト
run
君
in
と
with
一件あ
Mato
った
this
し
morning.
面倒になる前に帰る
So I
わ。
want to leave before it gets out of hand.
やっぱりそうか。マト
Yeah,
のやつ
figured. He
今
sure
朝
got
は
a
特
temper
に
this
荒れてたか
morning.
ら
You
さ
must have put him through the ringer.
遠坂に手ひどく扱われたんだろうなって思ってた。
そう。迷惑をかけてしまったかしら、三辻さん。
Sorry for the trouble.
別にマトが下級生をいびるのはい
It
つものこと
wasn't
だし、
really.
あれ
Mato's
はあ
always hard
れ
on
で
the
いい
younger
精神鍛錬に
students.
なるよ。
Helps them build character. Yes. Bullying builds character.
Yeah, Shinji gets a lot of free passes for no adequately explored reason.
そう、よかった。
I guess just because he's
じゃあ、
good
この埋
looking.
め合わせはまた今度。
I'm glad to hear it. I'll make it up to you later. That is a very real thing though. Like especially in high school, girls will let a lot slide with guys if they're handsome.
Yeah, that's what fucked me up was UBWA.
はいはい。これに懲りずまた寄っていってちょうだい。
Sure. Hope it doesn't put you off. Stop by again sometime. I make my way home without taking any detours. My time as Rin Tosaka, the honors student, ends once I leave the school. The next half of the day is reserved for the other half of me. I have to become a mage of the Tosaka. When I arrive back at the house, I'm greeted with the pulsing light of my answering machine.
留守電なんて珍しいな。
Voicemail.
相手は、
That's rare.
やっぱりあんたか、キレ。
Figures it's Kirei.
Fucking Kirei. Hi, Kirei.
I have a feeling I know what he's going to say. But I'd better listen or I won't hear the end of it later. I press the play button and hear a familiar male voice.
私だ。分かっていると思うが、期限は明日までだぞ、リン。あまり悠長に構えられては困る。残る席はあと2つだ。 早々にマスターを揃えねばならん。
Priest cuts straight to the point.
マスターの権利を放棄するというのなら、今日中に連絡しろ。予備の魔術師を派遣するにも時間がかかる。
Liar. I bet you couldn't find a backup right away.
Could find one.
Sorry, but you could find a backup right away.
お前にはすでに0時の兆しが現れているのだ。さっさとサーバントを召喚し、0時を開け。もっとも、聖杯戦争に参加しないというのならば話は別だ。命が惜しいのなら、早々に教会に駆け込むがいい。
The voicemail ends. It's a clear message in simple language. If you're going to fight, then be ready by today. If you aren't, then retire, because you're in the way.
言われなくても分かってるわよ。
Didn't need you to tell me that. It's only to be expected, I guess. Today's the last day I can drag this out. Thankfully, I managed to decipher Father's notes yesterday. My battle preparations are in order.
Yes, my brattle preparations.
All that's left is to seize the right to participate, as he said.
聖杯戦争。
Holy Grail War.
たった一つきりの聖杯を奪
Fight
い合
to
う
the
この
death
試合。
over a single chalice.
何百年も前から伝わっ
A
てきた
ritual
聖
that's
杯の
gone on
儀
for
式。
centuries. The mage who takes words. The mages who take part in the Holy Grail War are called Masters. It doesn't denote a rank of any kind. It merely describes their role.
It's not like they're the Jedi Council or anything.
There's a condition to participate in the Holy Grail War. You must summon a familiar called a servant and form a contract with them. Regardless of your skills as a mage, you're not recognized as a master unless you command a servant. There's a clear difference between servants and normal familiars. The way you summon and use them are different. Mages who plan to fight in the Holy Grail War prepare summoning catalysts, but
ほんと、父さんもセイバーにゆかりのものを残してくれればよかったのに。
my father had left me something with a connection to a saber. I don't own any relics with a connection to a servant. I can summon one, yes. In fact, I could do it right now if I wanted to, as well as form a contract. This town's ley lines are under the jurisdiction of the Tosakas. I'm the heir to a clan that's administered land for generations, so my performances will not take a back seat to some visiting mage. Although, while that's true, it'd be awfully incompetent of me to embark on a figurative voyage without a compass.
サーバントはシンボルによって引き寄せられる。
Servants are drawn to symbols.
強力なサーバントを
Summon
呼
a
び出したい
powerful
のな
servant.
ら、
One
その
needs a
サーバン
symbol
トに
with
ゆ
a
かりのある
connection
もの
to
が
that
必要不
servant.
可欠なのだ。
In other words, I'd need some outrageously valuable item. Like a sword or a piece of armor that a servant owned. Or maybe a bone or heraldry related to them.
父さんの遺言に期待してたん
I
だけ
had
ど
such
な。
big hopes for Father's will.
これはこれで
No,
ものすごい切
he
り札
still
なん
did
だけ
leave
ど
me a serious trump card. The pendant I discovered in the basement last night is an ancient artifact of the highest quality. It's amazing all on its own.
Yeah, it's a whole 3-star craft essence.
Still, it won't help me summon a servant.
いいわよ。そんなものに頼ら
I
な
need
く
to
たっ
rely
てな
on
んとか
something
な
like
るわ。
that to figure this out.
そもそも私以外にセーバーを扱える
To
マス
begin
ター
with,
なんて
I
いる
doubt
はず
there's
ないし。
any master more qualified to handle a saber than I am. Alright, I've made up my mind. I'd rather not get another earful, and waiting until the last minute doesn't sit right with me. Now the real challenge begins. Tonight, I'm going to summon a servant while I'm in peak condition and acquire a saber by force.
Meanwhile, outside. Meanwhile, over here.
Late night. The clock reads almost 2 a.m. It's the period where everything lines up. My condition peaks at 2 a.m. sharp.
Man, that's like the worst biorhythm. Hi, you're at peak performance at 2 in the morning. You, man!
In terms of limits, this will be my first and last chance. So I can't afford even the slightest mistake.
消去の中に
Draw
大
within elimination.
大挙の陣を
Create
4つ
4
刻んで
circles of
召喚
withdrawal.
の陣で
Surround them with a summoning circle. There.
You know what this means. It's time to roll the gotcha slots.
I inscribe magic circles into the floor of the basement. Actually, it doesn't take a major evocation to call forth a servant. Servants are invited by the Holy Grail. Masters anchor them to the world and supply the magical energy to materialize them, but servants are the ones who chose to respond to the summons.
Howdy there, Reed. In your not little girl glory.
To the elements, silver and iron,
ソニは我が大使
Foundation.
シュバインオーグ
stone, the Archduke of Pacts. For the ancestor, my great master, not gonna bother because that's clearly German.
Schweinorg. I believe is
降り立つ風には壁を
Raise
四
the
方の
wall
門は閉じ
to the
王
winds
冠
that
へ
shall
向け
fall.
王国二
Close
代
the
三
gates
猿は
in
循
four
環せよ
directions. Come forth from the crown and follow the forked road leading to the kingdom.
Capital K.
Still, I need to keep cautious and focus. Magic circles are normally drawn with blood. Tonight, I draw mine with melted jewels. I'm using up half the jewels I've accumulated over my lifetime, so I'll never financially recover from mystical tales.
満たせ満たせ満たせ満たせ満たせ
Lots of repeating.
繰り返し都度にごたび
It's part of the you have to. It's part of the rules.
ただ満たされる
But
時を破
when
却
each
す
is
る
filled, destroy it. It's almost 2 a.m. Finish drawing the summoning circle, pass it down through the Tosaka line, and face it with all my being.
アンフォン
I flick a formless switch within myself. With a click, I feel my insides turn over to something else. My normal nerves invert and become circuits for conducting magical energy. Rin Tosaka is no longer human. She's just a component in the execution of mystics.
To be clear, Rin Tosaka is still human. She has not ceased to be human.
I melt from my fingers. No, I'm filled up from my fingers. The mana I'm taking in is so dense it overwrites my bodily sensations. It was really hard to read with that flashing light. That's why I'm being destroyed at the same time I'm being filled. Running through my body is the power, mana, from the atmosphere. Stop!
It's making it easier, right?
For context, you just like rapid turned on, turned off the flashlight on his phone. Mage's body is nothing but circuits. Circuits to connect to the ethereal, to the material.
God, it's such a good, like, shot right there.
It is. I'll acknowledge. The mystical outcome we produce is what we call magecraft. My body grows hot. It seems like horns are growing from my forehead. Seems like wings are sprouting from my back. Seems like scales are covering my hands. You're just turning into a dragon. It feels like there's water pooling around my ankles.
Okay, that doesn't track with dragon.
Shh, it's fine. Sweat drips. Stab. Stab. Swords pierce my body. These are the stigmata that reject my body, which becomes a circuit. What?
Her body becomes a circuit.
No, I'm just... Okay. No matter how gifted a mage is, we're only human. In a human body, pain is something we must live with whenever we use magecraft. The cycle doesn't let up. Beyond the agony, deep within the trance, lies the mental state necessary for connection. Pain wriggles in my left arm. To aid the caster, my magic crest autonomously begins an incantation, invading my nervous system.
My magic crest is incarnating! Holy shit!
Look. The mana in the atmosphere I've taken it in turns to blood. It's like molten lead. I thought you said it was blood!
Yeah, but it's like molten lead.
Well, my activated magic crest resembles thorny nerves. With a Nope, not a crumbling sensation. With a crunching sensation, it creeps throughout my body like a thorny centipede.
My magic crest is incarnating and then her arm fucking explodes.
In the herd, I forget myself. At the same time, I can feel it taking hold of me, like I've reached where I need to go. My hypersensitive hearing picks up the ticking clock in the parlor. 10 seconds left until 2 a.m. The power filling my body is unquestionably complete. Heed my words. Time to begin. Convert the mana I've collected into magical energy for fixation. All that's left is to feed all of the energy into the engine, summoning circle, until my body runs dry. Heed my words. My will creates your body, and your sword creates my destiny. You heed the Growl's call, and obey my will and reason, then answer me.
Join me as I murder, death, kill.
My vision goes dark. What lies before me now is the fifth factor, said to be imperceptible to the naked eye. My vision shuts off on its own, fearing what I might see.
誓いをここ
I hereby swear
我は常世すべての善とな
I
る
shall be all the good in the world.
我は
I
常世
shall
すべて
defeat
の
all
悪
evil
を仕
in
組
the world.
み汝三代の言霊を
Seven
またに
heavens
して
clad in three great words of power.
緑地の目より来たれ
Fourth from the
天
circle
秤
of
の
my
守り手よ
guardian of the scales.
Together, they'll fuck up all the bitches.
That went off without a hitch. It feels so perfect. It's like I'm reeling in a whale with a fishing rod. How is that perfect? That sounds like the opposite of perfect. A normal fishing rod is not meant for whale.
Here comes Free Willy, baby!
Flawless. I'm positive I drew the strongest card. I can't wait for my vision to return. It'll take a few more seconds, but when it does, I'm sure the strongest servant will be nowhere in sight.
はい
What? Nothing's there. The room doesn't look different at all. I spun that much ether into this ritual only for absolutely nothing to materialize? On top of that, I think I just heard something explode in the parlor.
Tries to summon a spirit, detonates her house instead. Just
Why? I bolt. My head's empty at this point. I just run. I race up the stairs from the basement.
扉壊れてる
The door's broken? The door to the parlor is askew off its hinges. There isn't any point in turning the doorknob. And since it won't open whether I push or pull...
もう邪魔だか
Damn it, move, you stupid thing! I kick it down and burst into the room.
door's broken. Fucking kick it open.
And the moment I enter the parlor, everything becomes clear. Everything's in tatters. Rubble is strewn across everything, as if something has fallen through the ceiling. On top of it all sits a man, cocking his head arrogantly. So, fun fact, the reason I delayed starting the sentence rubble was because my brain went ruble, and I was like, what does the Russian currency have anything to do with anything?
Ah, you see, rubles are strewn across the room. We have much rubles to pick up. We go to store. We buy things with rubles. It's good, yes. We spend rubles at store.
He must be some kind of criminal. But something graver draws my attention. The grandfather clock, having escaped the destruction, tells the time precisely. Now I remember. Right. Of course. The clocks were an hour ahead today, weren't they?
Reed, it's not 2 a.m., Reed.
Which means it's 1 in the morning. Still a full hour until I'm in peak spellcasting form.
またやっちゃった
Screwed up again.
You'll notice a trend where Reed has a tendency to fuck up at the last possible moment.
This game was first launched, it was buggy as hell, and that part where Rebel fell from the ceiling were cutscenes that fell down instead.
On the PC release, this, from what I understand, the Switch version was fine. The Switch version never had those problems.
I can complete tasks as well as anybody else, but suffer from the curse of my genetics.
And as I understand, the problem with the PC release is they forgot to swap the region, and so it was trying to use the Japanese region outside of Japan, and that just caused problems.
When it really counts, I somehow managed to bungle things on an unbelievable level.
やっちゃったことは仕方ない。反省。
What's done is done. Just gotta learn from this. Can't believe my own stupidity. Still irritated, I direct my glare at the man lounging haughtily on the rubble.
This guy's just having a fucking... He's using her collapsed ceiling as a couch.
それで、あんた何？
So, what are you?
開口一番それか。こりゃまたとんでもないマスターに引き当てられたものだ。
The man in the red mantle shakes his head in a show of exasperation. To add insult to injury, he mutters something about drawing the short straw. Oh. Now I'm dead certain. This guy has a messed up personality. And is this a servant? I thought familiars were shapeless beings, but this is just a man. No, not just a man. Even from here, I can tell that it's brimming with a shocking amount of magical energy. Don't be fooled by its appearance. I'm staring at something that's undoubtedly more than human. The human-shaped ghost that's on the level of an elemental. There's no time to be dumbstruck. That thing belongs to me.
I own you, bitch.
I need to get my head in the game.
確認するけど、あなたは
Just
私
checking,
の
but
サ
you
ーバ
are
ントで
my
間違いない？
right?
それはこちらが聞きたいな。君こそ私のマスターなのか。ここまで乱暴な召喚は初めてでね。正直状況がつかめない。
私だって初めてよ。そういう質問は却下するわ。
そうか。だが私が召喚された時に。
本気？ひな鳥じゃあるまいし、
Are you
目を開けた時にしか主を決められないなんて冗談はやめてよ
Don't
ね。
joke like that. Or don't joke that you can't decide who to serve if they aren't there when you open your eyes.
Or didn't imprint on you. You're not my mom.
The unidentified servant frowns. A grunt escapes his lips.
You get canceled for saying things like that nowadays, Reed. Guy belongs to me. Canceled.
Maybe he didn't like the way I said it. Though he has a mixed reaction. As if still impressed by the logic in my words.
まあいいわ。私が聞いているのはね、
Whatever.
あなたが他の誰でも
What
ない
I'm
こ
asking
の私
is
の
if
サー
you're
バン
my
トかってことだ
servant
けよ。
and no one else's.
それをはっきりさせない
I
以
don't
上、
have to
他
answer
の質問
any
に
of
答え
your
る義務はない
questions
わ。
until we make that clear.
召喚に失敗しておいてそれか。この場合他にいろいろと言うべきことがあると思うのだが。
そんなのないわよ。
There
主
isn't.
従関係は一番
In a
初めにはっきりさせてお
master-familiar
くべきものだ
relationship,
もの。
that is the first detail we need to hash out. Servant's eyebrow twitches. He isn't even bothering to hide his dissatisfaction with me. I wonder if it's because of the half-baked summoning.
主従関係ははっきりさせておくか。やることは知ってんだらけだが、口だけは達者らしい。ああ、確かにその意見には賛成だ。どちらが強者で、どちらが弱者なのか、明確にしておかなければ、お互いやりづらかろう。
Servant eyes me meaningfully. Still relaxing on the rubble of my living room.
どちらが弱者かですって。
ああ、私もサーバントだ。呼ばれたからには主従関係を認めるさ。だがそれはあくまで契約上の話だろう。どちらがより優れたものか、共に戦うにふさわしい相手かを測るのは別になる。さて、その件でいくと、君は私のマスターにふさわしい魔術師なのかな、お嬢さん。
Servant smirks. First, he destroys my house and acts like he's king of the castle, and now he has the nerve to ask whether I'm worthy?
あなたの意見なんて聞いてな
I
い
didn't
わ。
ask for your opinion.
私が聞いて
I
いるの
only
は
asked if
あ
you're
な
my
たが私の
servant
サーバン
or
トかどう
not.
かってことだけよ。
I repeat myself, stealing my gaze. I'm not gonna back down from this condescending jerk.
ほう、なるほどなるほど。そんな当たり前のことは答えるまでもないと。実に勇ましい。いや、気概だけなら立派なマスターだが。
だから順
Like I
番を間違
said,
えるなっていうの。
getting ahead of yourself.
一番初めに確認するのは召喚者の
Summoners
務め
do
よ。
need to confirm this
さあ
first.
答え
Now
なさい。
answer me.
あなたは
Are
私
you
のサーバン
my
トなのね。
servant or not? I step forward aggressively, ready to pounce depending on his answer.
強情なお嬢さんだ。これでは話が進まんな。仕方あるまい。仮に私が君のサーバントだとしよう。で、その場合、君が私のマスターなのか？いやまあ、あくまで仮の話だが。
当たり前じゃない。あなたが私に呼ばれたサーバントなら、あなたのマスターは私以外に誰がいるっていうのよ。
I glare at this rude man, giving my seething head a moment to cool down.
おう、そうか。まあ仮の話なんだが、とりあえずそうだとしよう。それで、君が私のマスターである証はどこにある？
Politely asks, smiling all the while.
Oh yeah? Well, if you're in charge of me, prove it.
He's clearly trying to goad me with these questions into losing my temper.
ここよ。あなたのマスターである証ってこれで
This
しょ。
proves that I'm your master. I show him the command spells on my right hand. Don't think I was born yesterday. Father's told me enough that I know what command spells are at least.
納得いった？これでもまだ文句を言うの？
Good enough for you yet? Any other complaints? I thrust the symbol at him in challenge. But the lounging servant rolls his eyes.
まあ言ったな。本気で言っているのか、お嬢さん。
His face darkens, looking even more disgruntled.
本気かってなんでよ。
その考えがだ。霊樹があればマスターなのか。霊樹などサーバントを利する道具に過ぎないだろう。まったくそんな形だけのものでマスターブルとはな。私が見たかったのは君が忠誠を振るうにふさわしい人物かどうかだったのだが。
Makes sense, but normally you'd think of command spells if someone asked for proof you're a master, right?
何よ。
What?
それじゃあ私は
You
マス
think
タ
I'm
ー失格？
qualified to be your master?
そう願いたいが、そうはいくまい。霊樹がある以上、私の召喚者は君のようだ。信じがたいが、君は本当に私のマスターらしいな。
shrugs in mock exhaustion.
Some of more of the house falls down.
Sorry. I've reached my boiling point, and I'm not gonna cool down in time.
全くもって不満だが認めよう。とりあえず君は私のマスターだ。だが私にも条件がある。私は今後君の言い分には従わない。戦闘これが最大の譲歩だ。それで構わないな、お嬢さん。
Sorry, Father. I'm at my limit.
そう不満だけど認めるくせに私の意見には取り合
You're
わない
saying
って
you'll
どういうことか
recognize
し
me
ら
even though you don't like
あな
it.
たは私の
So
サー
you'll
バントなん
ignore
で
my
しょ
opinions. Aren't you supposed to be my servant? I ask in a trembling voice. After our spat over the command spells, this is my last desperate attempt at dialogue. And yet,
ああ、形の上だけはな。故に形式上は君に従ってやる。だが戦うのは私自身だ。君はこの家の地下にでも隠れて聖杯戦争が終わるまでじっとしていればいい。
Fuck it, I'll do it myself.
それなら未熟な君でも命だけは助かるだろう。
looking down on me, declaring that he expects nothing from me.
怒ったのか？いや、もちろん君の立場は尊重するよ。私はマスターを勝利させるために呼ばれたものだからな。私の勝利は君のものだし、戦いで得たものは全て君にくれてやる。それなら文句はなかろう。どうせ君に令状は使えまい。まあ、後のことは私に任せて。
あ頭きた
At it with you.
いいわそんなに言うなら使ってやろうじゃない
That's how it's going to be. Then I'll use them.
アンファン
No more mercy. Got nothing else left for a jackass like this.
まさか。
そのまさかよこの礼儀知らず
Exactly what you're thinking, you dirtbag.
フィアトラークアイノイエナーゲルアイノイエスケナッツアイノイエスフィアブレヒン
待て、正気かマスター。そんなことで令状を使うやつが。
うるさいいいあんたは私のサーバントなら私の言い分には
Alright,
絶
get
対
it?
服従っても
That
んで
means
しょ
you absolutely have to do what I say. The emblem on my right hand aches. 3 command spells. They allow a master to issue 3 unbreakable commands to their servants.
考えなさか君は。こんな大雑把なことに令状を使うなど。
It's too late to whine now. I didn't expect this to happen either. I die of self-loathing. I believe I just burned one of my precious command spells on a petty squabble. For that, I retreated from the ruins of the parlor and went to my bedroom. Before me stands the servant to whom my command spell compelled absolute obedience from. Supposedly, anyway.
なるほど。君の性質は大体理解したぞ、マスター。
Who would call this absolute obedience?
念のため尋ねるが、君は令状がどれほど重要か理解しているのか、マスター。
知ってるわよ
Sure I do.
サーバントを律する3回きりの命令権でしょ。それが何よ。
So, yeah, important thing to keep in mind. She gets 3 of those command spells ever. Full stop. Total. For the entire duration of this war. She gets 3. And she just burned one of them because she was mad that he wasn't taking her seriously. These have the power to do, like, completely impossible shit. Like, teleport your servant halfway across the world if you need to, for some reason. And she's just like, hey, do what I say, damn it.
いいかね。レイジはサーバントを強制的に行動させるものだ。
I mean, in a weird way, though, it technically, in theory, would make him her most loyal servant if she summoned other people. 'Cause...
Well, we'll see about that shortly.
Like I said, in theory. Because if he has to follow... Although it could just as easily make him the token mascot for malicious compliance. So...
Take it away, Red.
それは行動を止めるだけでなく、行動を強化させるという意味でもある。
Bio's gone more or less, yes.
例えば、私はここから遠くの場所まで瞬間的には移動できない。だが、レイジで行けと命じれば、それが私と君の魔力で届くことならば可能となる。強制命令権とはそういうことだ。サーバント自身でも制御できない肉体の限界さえ突破させる大魔術の結晶が3つの霊樹なのだ。まあ今では2つに減ってしまったがな。
知ってるわよ、そんなこと。いいじゃない、まだ2つあるんだし。
That's so
あなたに
what?
命じた規則は無駄じゃないんだし。
It's not like the first order was wasted on you.
確かにこれは私の誤算だった。霊樹というものは曖昧な命令には効きが弱くなる。
Basically, right? If you give them something hyper specific, then it's gonna be super duper strong, the compulsion. But if you're just like, hey, don't argue with me or whatever, it's gonna be significantly weaker.
私を守り通せ、この戦いに勝てなどといった広く長く効果が続くものには霊樹の力が弱くなる。効き目は長く続くが苦痛が小さいため逆らえるサーバントも出てくるだろう。逆に次の一撃を死ぬ気で放て、あのグラスだけは壊すなといった単一の命令は絶対で、よほど強力なサーバントでも逆らうのは難しくなる。さて、ここまでで私が言いたいことがわかるな、マスター。
わかるわよ。要するに広く長い命令は意味がないんでしょ。効果も戒めも薄いならサーバントは霊樹に逆らって行動できる。そんな効き目の薄い命令をするなら絶対的な単一の命令をした方がいい。
そうだ。霊樹とはもともと自分たちの能力以上の奇跡を起こすためのもの。それを代用の効く命令などで消費する具は許されない。君の先ほどの霊樹はまさにそれだ。私が君に従うかは話し合いで解決できたことだし、仮に霊樹を使ったところで全ての言動に絶対服従など霊樹が100あっても実現できない。
She could have tried that, yes. Problem is temper.
Yep.
Problem is, you're dealing with a teenage girl who got emotional.
じゃあ私のさっきのレイジは無意味ってこと？
通常ならそうなのだがな。どうも君の魔術師としての性能は桁が違ったらしい。
Is he shocked or happy? My servant's lips twitch upward, even as he sighs.
桁が違ったって。
By
もしかして
outstanding, you mean...
ちょっとあなた、自分が今どんな状態なのか正
Tell
直
me
に
what
話し
your
てみなさい。
condition is like right now. The implication dawns on me, and I ask him eagerly.
ああ、誤算というのはそれだ。先ほどの命令では、少しはマスターの意見を尊重しようという程度の心変わりにしかならない。
Slightly more.
だが、今の私は君の言葉に強い強制を感じている。君の意見に異を唱えると、そうだな、ランクが一つばかり落ちるようだ。つまり、マスターの意向に逆らうと、体が重くなって動きづらいというところか。
So basically what he's saying here is I can totally disobey you if I want to. But it's gonna fuck up my stats if I do.
My servant shrugs in resignation. So he's saying that my command spell wasn't a waste, but an actual benefit?
It's kind of a waste, because he can still disobey you. It's just like, he would prefer not to, because he doesn't want to take a hit to his stats.
He's still being as sarcastic as ever, though it doesn't seem to have had any effect. Besides, even if he's weakened, I doubt even 10 of me could resist if he decided to rebel against me.
Understatement of the century, but yes.
前言を撤回しよう、マスター。年齢は若いが、君は卓越した魔術師だ。子供と侮り、戦いから遠ざけようとしたのは私の過ちだった。無礼ともども謝ろう。
Servant straightens his posture and gives me a formal bow.
やめてよ。確かにいろいろ言い合ったけど、
hold on.
そんなの
I
喧
know
嘩
we've
両
said
成
a
敗って
lot
いう
of
か。
things to each other, but it's not like we need to make up after.
Bio makes a
So
good point.
Yeah.
Basically, your
Unless
command
no
spell
one must
amounted to
have
literally nothing in the best case, and you nerfed your own servant in the worst case.
なんか切り返し早いわね、あんた。
Quick on the uptake, aren't you?
何？誤算は誤算だったが、嬉しい誤算というやつだったからな。これほどの才能があるのなら、君を戦いに巻き込むことに異論はない。
Is this his roundabout way of saying I'm a strong master?
じゃあ、レイジ抜きで
So
私が
you'll
マスターだっ
recognize
て
me as
認
your
めるの
master
ね。
even without the command spells?
無論だ。先ほどは召喚されたばかりで馴染んでいなかったが、今では完全につながった。魔術
契約？
Or pact? Now that he mentions it, something does feel weird about my body. As if my closed-off nerves are connected to the outside. Specifically, I can feel a portion of my magic energy flowing into the man before me.
そっか。サーバントは聖杯に呼ばれるけど、呼ばれたサーバントをこの世に留めるのは
The Holy Grail calls the servants, but the Master keeps them in the world.
そう、マスターの力だ。サーバントはマスターからの魔力提供によってこの世に留まる。魔力提供量は十分だ。
経験的に問題はありそうだが、君の能力は飛び抜けている。普通の魔術師ならばサーバントを召喚した瞬間に意識を失っているだろう。だというのに君は活力に満ちている。先ほどのレイジといい、この魔力量といい、マスターとして君は間違いなく一流だ。
今更褒めたって何も出ないけど。
X to doubt.
I break eye contact out of embarrassment. I didn't see this coming. I know the command spell is making him obey me, but still, the superhuman servant is sincerely acknowledging me as his master.
で、あなた何のサーバント？
Which servant are you? I clear my head and return to business.
見てわからないか？ああ、それは結構。
I take it all back. He's definitely making fun of me.
わかったわ。これはマスターとしての質問よ。
And then I'm asking as your master.
ねえ、あなたセイバーじゃないの？
Aren't you a saber?
残念ながら剣は持っていない。
Unfortunately, I do not have a sword.
I suspected as much.
You want to talk about the single biggest lie told in this entire game? This dude over here being like, I do not have a sword. It's hilarious.
When all's said and done, I got the time wrong, my summoning circle didn't do its job, and my servant was spat out into some random room. It's far too sloppy of a ritual to summon the strongest servant, Saber.
ドジったわ。あれだけ宝石を使っておいてセイバーじゃないなんて目も当てられない。
He only botched it this time. He'll never live down failing to pull Saber after spending that many gems.
悪かったな、セイバーでなくて。
え？ああ、
Huh? Well,
そりゃ
sure,
成
it's
功
a
のミスだ
painful
から残
mistake,
念
but
だ
I'm
け
the
ど、
one
悪
who
い
screwed
の
up.
は私なんだから。
なあ、どうせアーチャーでは派手さに欠けるだろうよ。いいだろう。後で今の暴言を悔やませてやる。その時になって謝っても聞かないからな。
To be fair, Archer is what her dad summoned in the previous war. So, the Archer class is what her dad summoned, I suppose I should say.
What? What a surprise. The unidentified servant seems to be sulking. Maybe my fixation on Saber offended him.
何？勘に触ったあーちゃん。
Strike a nerve, Archer?
触った。見ていろ。必ず自分が幸運だったと思い知らせてやる。
Archer retorts with a sidelong glance.
Archer over here like, how dare.
He had a really spiteful air about him, but that reaction felt somehow childish and free of malice. You know, he might be a pretty decent guy.
それじゃあ必ず私を後悔させてあーちゃん。
Make sure I regret what I said, Archer.
そうなったら素直に謝
I'll
らせてもらう
apologize
か
from
ら。
the bottom of my heart if so.
ああ、忘れるなよ、マスター。己が召喚したものがどれほどのものか知って感謝するがいい。
Why would you want a saber? I have a class advantage over those, so I'm better than getting a saber archer internally. So class advantage doesn't actually exist within the scope of Stay Night, but Grand Order introduced this sort of Pokemon-esque class triangle with a different class triangle and then like a big triangle of triangles. It got very unwieldy after the first year, but yeah.
Archer huffs, even as his lips twitch into a grin. Oh yeah, this one's got a rotten personality, alright.
まあいいわ。
Fine.
それであんたどこの英
Anyway,
雄なのよ。
you're a heroic spirit. So, where's your legend originally from? Archer doesn't answer. His sardonic expression is replaced by a deepening frown.
あーちゃん、マスターである私がサーバントであるあなたに聞いているんだけど。
Archer, I just asked you a question.
それは秘密だ。
秘密.
That
That
Is
is
a
a secret. Well, Miss Lena, you see.
は？
私がどのようなものだったかは答えられない。
あのね、つまんない理由だったら怒るわよ。
Hey, I'll get mad if you give me a lame excuse.
それは
There's that face again. Archer opens and closes his mouth as if he's having trouble voicing an uncomfortable truth.
なぜかというと、自分でもわからない。
Amnesia, yay.
You see, I know I'm super duper strong, but I don't know who I am. Oops.
Wait. What?
はぁ？
Are you making fun of me
あん
again?
た私のことバカにしてるわけ？
マスターを侮辱するつもりはない。ただ、これは君の不完全な召喚のツケだぞ。どうも、記憶に混乱が見られる。自分が何者であるかわかるのだが、名前や素性がどうも曖昧だ。
気にすることはない。
Of course I'm
気
concerned.
にするわよ、そんなの。あんたがどんな英霊か知らな
I
きゃ
don't know which
どのく
heroic
らい強いの
spirit
か
you
わ
are,
か
then
ら
how
ない
am
じゃ
I
ない。
supposed to know how strong you are?
なんだ、そんなことは問題ではなかろう。さまつな問題だよ、それは。
さまつってあんたね、相棒の強さがわからないんじゃ作戦の立てようがないでしょ。そんなんで戦っていけるわけないじゃない。
We go again. How am I supposed to form a strategy if I can't tell how strong my partner is? We can't fight a war like this.
何を言う。私は君が呼び出したサーバントだ。それが最強でないはずがない。
He's so straightforward. The Crimson Knight fixes me with a gaze full of confidence and trust. My brain grinds to a halt. There's no deception in Archer's words.
Wide Archer after all these years.
He's sincerely giving me more credit than I deserve, even though we've just met. My cheeks are burning. I'm gonna be I'm sure I'm blushing bright red right now. Surprise attacks like this tend to be my weakness.
まあいいか。
Fine then.
誰にも正体がわからないってことには変わりはないんだし。
They say you
敵を騙すにはま
you
ず
have
味
to
方
fool
か
your
らって
allies to fool your nemesis.
Or enemies.
I turn away from Archer to hide my embarrassment. Sure, I'll figure it out in due time what sort of servant he is anyway.
He's an archer, we've been over this.
For now, we have other priorities.
わかった。
Okay.
しばらくあなたの正体に関しては不問にしましょう。それじゃああーちゃん、最初の仕事だけど。
Here's your first job. Is it fix the living room?
You're gonna like
早速
Green.
好戦的だな、君は。
Jumping straight to it, are we? Guess you're an aggressive type.
それで
What's the... Before he can say enemy, I toss a broom and dustpan at him.
下の掃除
Go clean the mess you made
あんたが
downstairs.
散らかしたんだから責任持ってきれいにしといてね。
A few seconds pass in stunned silence. When Archer finally regains his senses, he grips the broom indignantly.
待て。君はサーバントを何だと思っている？
使い魔でしょ？
It's familiar, right?
で扱いに
A
困る
little
けど
uppity and hard to deal with, though. Archer cuts himself off. I have no intention of letting him off, and if he tries to weasel out of it, I still have a card to play.
意義あり。そのよう
I
な命令は
object.
こと。
I refuse to.
いいの？
Are you
こ
sure?
れマスターとして
This
の
is a
命令
direct
よ。
order from your
マス
master.
ターの方針に
I
逆らっ
thought
た
you
ら
said you'd
体
feel
が重
weighed
くなる
down
んだっ
if you
け？
went against me.
まあ、あなたはその
It's
程
too
度じゃ変わっ
bad
たこ
that
とない
it's
だ
too
ろう
much
けど、
for you to
そ
handle.
のペナルティ
But
は
the
今を
penalty
掃
will
除するまで
continue
続く
until
の
the
よ。
parlor's clean, you know.
そんな状態で明日
Won't
から
that
戦
pose
っ
a
ていく
risk
の
to you
は危
when
ない
we
んじゃない？
start fighting tomorrow?
I hate how right she is.
He stands there for several more seconds with broom in hand, grumbling under his breath. And so, the archer in the red mantle closes his eyes.
了解した。地獄に落ちろ、マスター。
And gracefully accepts my order.
I love both of these characters so much.
Now then. Getting late, so I should rest. I can decide how to deal with him once I wake up.
By the way, clean up my house. Night. Fucking pieces out.
Fateful day draws to a close.
You see why I said you'd like Reed?
No, rather, my fate was shaped by this night. That makes 6, including me. Once the 7th and final master summons their servant, the Holy Grail War of this generation will begin. In the not-so-distant future, the battle I've been waiting 10 long years for is about to commence.
January 31st. Nope. February 1st now.
Holy Grail War. The grand ritual that has been repeated for hundreds of years.
It's a grand ritual. It's been repeated for hundreds of years.
Stop it! That's why you can't do anything with siblings. A fight to the death between 7 participants, of which only one can survive. It's said that a holy grail exists in the land of Bayuki, and that a number of mages fought over it in the past. Their one and only objective was to obtain the relic called the Holy Grail. However, the Grail's origins are unclear. We're sure it isn't the chalice that held the blood of God, but its power is fearsome enough to be compared to the genuine article. That's right. They say the Holy Grail can grant any wish. Only one person can possess it. The Holy Grail can only grant one wish for one person. Despite that, 7 mages are needed to summon the Grail to this land. 7 collaborators to create one miracle. So, as you might imagine, it's only a matter of time before they started fighting over the Grail. so many conflicts, it started as a competition over property rights. 7 mages equally used the power of the Holy Grail to summon their respective familiars, then do battle over the Grail itself. Only 1 mage can obtain the Grail. As a result, 7 people who started as colleagues end up in a ferocious battle to the death. That's the gist of the ritual known as the Holy Grail War. A struggle for ownership between mages. The mages chosen by the Holy Grail are called Masters. Are you sure they're not called Chiefs? Chiefs feels like a better term for leadership roles. Who use the blessing of the Grail to acquire powerful familiars known as servants. Two things serve as proof that one has become a master. Summoning in command of a servant, and the mark of command spells to compel the servant's servitude. The first goes without saying. The archer I summoned yesterday, no, a few hours ago to be exact, is Rin Tosaka's servant. As for the second, a master must closely guard the command spells that control one's servant. It's probably the most critical aspect of being a master. When I summoned Archer, symbols appeared on my right hand. Namely, command spells. Stigmata bestowed by the Holy Grail upon the summoning of a servant, and that marks one's new status as a master. No, I read that right!
Holy Grail War, a term used to describe a kerfuffle involving 7 jackasses who in turn summoned 7 legendary heroes from across history to stab each other to death just to get a fancy-looking cup. Yeah, basically.
A massive amount of magical energy pressed into these seals, whose power is fleeting rather than long-lasting. They disappear once they're used, and as their shape suggests, each mark represents a single use. In other words, one only gets 3 shots. A master who's used up all 3 command spells can no longer control a servant, and is as good as dead. Therefore, command spells must be handled with care until the very end, since they're as valuable as one's own life. It pains me to no end that I burned one right off the bat, but it wasn't a total waste, so I'll chalk it up to a win.
Yeah, I got a free house repair out of it.
After all, a servant could turn on its master at any time. If one command spell is what it takes to put a collar on him, then I consider it a fair trade.
Yeah, Rin's command spell is kind of power button-esque.
That's about it for the broader strokes of this business. Once the 7 servants have been summoned, the Holy Grail War will begin. Tonight's sleep will be a fitful one. I don't know when the final master will appear, but they could be right around the corner. Or they could be your classmate in school.
Why would that be the case?
Just usual tropes.
We're in a whole fucking town. What makes you think they're gonna be at the school?
I mean, you did say her one classmate has a lot of lines. And is the self-insert.
Well, yeah, Shirou's kind of the protagonist, but...
Which would indicate he has something to do with this Grail
The
War.
interesting thing is, like, you would expect, just given the setting that we've seen so far, that all of the masters are going to be students, and that is not the case.
I mean, I didn't assume it was, but... Morning already. I feel sluggish. My bleary gaze goes up to the window, only to see that it's already bright outside.
9時過ぎてる。
It's after 9. This doesn't even count as being tardy. After a drowsy check of the clocks, I make up my mind to skip school today.
Fuck it, I'm not going to class.
体が重い。
Body's heavy.
半分以上持って
Feels
かれ
like
たみ
that
たいね。
business mostly drained me.
Now hold on. Did you ever fix the clocks, or does they say it's after 9 and it's actually only just after 8?
Probably. Sitting up in bed, I heave a long sigh. Not being a morning person isn't enough to explain why I feel so dull. I think Archer mentioned something about it. Did both of our phones just ding at once?
Probably the Ring app.
A master would be out of commission after summoning a servant.
そうだった。
That's right.
私、
I summoned Archer,
セイバーじゃな
not
くて
Saber.
アーチャーを呼び出したんだ。
Saber Janai.
Remember it all clearly now. I'd rather not, to be honest. But it's not as if denying the facts will let me do it over.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like,
魔力が戻るまで1日ちょいか。今日は鳴らし運転ってことにしよう。
It'll take a day or so to recover my power. I'll just treat today like a break-in period. I drag myself out of bed. A mental boxing match rages between the outside air, which is quite warm for winter, and the comfort of my bed sheets. I fully understand, Doreen.
yep.
It concludes in a 3-second knockout against the temptation of going back to sleep. Yeah, I understand that too. I check my body in the mirror. Nothing out of place aside from the loss of half my usual magical energy.
問題なんてあるわけないけど。
Not that it's a problem. I review the situation. I summoned the servant Archer,
Saber Janai.
who doesn't have an ounce of respect for his master. To make matters worse, he doesn't even know who he is.
Well, you botched the summoning.
Wow, that's a headache.
あいつの記憶が戻る
Guess
まで
that means his trump card's off the table until memories come
思い
back.
出せないんじゃ使いようが
Can't
ないし
expect him to
ね。
use a power he doesn't even remember. Servants are strong familiars all on their own, but what makes them truly formidable is the secret weapon they each possess. Frustratingly, Archer claims to have forgotten what his is.
まあ、火はこ
My
っちに
fault
も
he's
あ
in
る
this
し。
state.
なんとか
We'll just
や
have
っ
to
てい
make
くし
it
かない
work.
か。
We're both in the same boat then. You only pray he'll sort his memories out, but who knows how long that might take. Good grief. I've really got my work cut out for...
あ、見
Whoa.
直したかもこれ。
I might have to reevaluate my opinion of him. The parlor's completely back to normal. I thought he'd maybe just clear away the detritus, but the room is so spotless I can't help but be impressed. He must have felt bad for wrecking the place. I doubt he would have gone to the trouble otherwise. Either that or his order simply wouldn't let him stop feeling super sluggish until everything was exactly the way it was supposed to
Or
be.
maybe he just has OCD.
But theoretically, he didn't see the state of the room before, you know, crashing into it.
Well, yeah, but...
So unless she had a perfect picture on one of the walls of what her living room's supposed to look like, And I'd point out, no normal person does that.
I actually keep it behind the entertainment center there. You can't see it. It's behind the entertainment center.
Let's be clear. I realized full well you're going to take a picture of your living room and tape it to the wall between this week and next week. I know that. But again, please see my comment. No normal person has a picture of their living room on their living room wall.
That's okay.
You
Most
putting a
normal people
picture
don't
up.
have a wanted poster for Liara's dad hanging in their office.
Also true. But I never claimed I was normal. I guess I ought to commend him for being a more decent guy than I...
日はとっくに昇っているぞ。また随分とだらしがないんだな、君は。
I retract my statement.
You didn't even finish making it.
There isn't a remorseful bone in his body.
おはよ
Good
う。
morning.
そういうあ
You
んた
seem
は
to have
随分
made
とリラッ
yourself
クス
right
してる
in.
よね。今を好き勝手。
ない。一晩過ごした部屋だからな。どこに何があるか把握したよ。おう。ついでだから厨房も片付けておいた。もう少し荒れているかと思ったが、なかなか気の行き届いた厨房だ。一人暮らしの洋館にしては上等だな。
I have a headache. Why do I have to put up with a servant judging my interior decoration? I thought servants all cared only about fighting. Are we sure this guy isn't defective?
なるほど。本調子ではなさそうだな。昨夜は元気だったが、睡眠をとって疲れが出たのだろう。うん。紅茶でよければご馳走しよう。
Acting like he owns the place. Without missing a beat, Archer produces a teacup and fills it with the expensive reddish tea he's brewing.
Is that your tea, or did he just get this tea from somewhere?
Also, I love that he asked her if black tea was fine, and then proceeded to steep a reddish tea instead of a straight black tea.
Well, what you need to understand is that Archer's entire purpose in life is to troll the hell out of Reen.
There's a lot I want to say right now, but oddly enough, I can't work up the indignation to. The way he does it also is also refined. I've got to admit, he might be rather cultured.
Oh, he knows tea ceremony.
疲れてるのは事実だし。
I'm pretty exhausted, so I'll have some. I sit down on the chair. The teacup is placed soundlessly in front of me. I take a sip. Delicious. I expected as much, since it's my favorite Chinese tea. Spring harvest, hagcha. I'd be upset if it didn't taste good.
By the way, Reen's a bit of a tea snob.
I like it. On that note, I'd normally be upset if someone used my favorite tea leaves without asking. It makes me mad, but the tea was brewed so exquisitely that the pleasure it brings overcomes my anger.
This is the equivalent of, like, me walking into your house and somehow perfectly making tea that I've never interacted with before.
You know full well, if you ruined my loose leaf tea, I'd kill you.
I mean, you just gotta put it in water, right? It can't be that hard. You boil the water, you put the leaves in the cup, you pour the water on it, then you stick a lid on it for like 20 minutes. It's fine.
There's so much wrong with that statement. First, for most of the teas in my collection, if you pour boiling water on them, you'll scorch it and it'll be disgusting.
I can't scorch it, I'm not lighting them on fire.
2, you don't steep tea leaves unless you are cold brewing for more than 7 minutes at most.
I disagree. My tea bags very clearly say 15 minutes.
That's just wrong.
It says right on there.
I mean, to be fair, I prefer things other than black teas typically, but even those, you're usually looking at most 10 to 12 minutes for a steep.
Oh, 10 to 15. It says right on the package.
Nope, too much. Too much time in boiling water. No, hard no. You're gonna scorch your tea leaves. It's gonna cause your tea to be burned, and that's disgusting.
You're saying things that aren't possible. It's a liquid. It cannot be burned.
Way too many tannins in your tea that way.
You cannot burn a liquid. That's not reasonable.
Fire.
That sounds accurate, Fire. I'm pretty sure if you just eat the leaves and then chug the kettle, you will make tea in your stomach, right?
Also, you have a viewer I sincerely appreciate. Trayvon, I appreciate the fact that those are, in fact, famous ways to be killed by a tea snob. Like, I've hit a new level of snobbery, too, where I literally have, like, common tea add-ins dried in my pantry so I can take basic tea leaves, either, black or green tea leaves I've got in just loose leaf straight. And then I can add in things like hibiscus, or dried cherry, or dried strawberry, or dried peach, or lemon peel.
My question is, why are you drying honey?
I never said I dried the honey.
You said you had common tea additives dried. Why are you drying your honey?
You don't need to dry honey. Also, I really don't have a ton of honey in my house. I tend towards agave or sugar as my sweeteners for my tea.
Nah, honey. Honey is the king of sweeteners for tea specifically, and for Special K. But that's a different story.
That honestly sounds amazing, Fire. But I would not be able to handle doing apiary stuff. I wouldn't handle that well.
Hey, you don't know that. You haven't tried.
I don't like bugs.
They're not bugs. They're bees. There's a difference.
ちょっと何笑ってるのよあんた。
Hey, what's so funny?
何感想が聞きたかったが、その顔では聞くまでもないと思っただけだ。
Set the teacup down with a forceful thud. Don't do that! You're gonna damage your
And she's
teacup!
cracked it. Hold on, Reed.
もったいない。熱いうちに味わった方がいいぞ。私が気に障るなら消えているが。
ごちそうさま。
No need.
結構
Thanks
よ。
for the tea.
私は茶坊主が欲しくてマスターになったわけじゃないわ。
I didn't ask you to do
あなたも
that
ね、
either.
頼みもしないことをする必要はないわよ。
そうか。確かに私も茶坊主になったり後片付けをするために契約したわけではない。君が
ええ、私が求めているのは戦力としての使い魔よ。
Only here to be a combat familiar.
家事をこなすサーバントな
I
んて
never
聞いた
heard
こ
of
と
a
がないし、
servant that does
す
household
る必要も
chores.
特にないわ。
Nor do I particularly need one.
Says the woman who made me fix her roof overnight.
ん特にはないとは
What do you mean
どういう
by
意味かな。
particularly?
別に好きなようにとって結構よ。
Interpret that however you want.
それより
More importantly,
あな
do you
た
remember
自
who
分
you
の正
are
体を
yet?
思い出せた？
Archer shakes his head in the negative. That doesn't bode well.
Reed, it's been like 6 hours. Give it a rat. The dude just got amnesia yesterday. You can't expect it to be over 6 hours later.
he can't remember after a single night, then his memories probably won't return easily. There's some measures I can try today, but
わかった。あなたの記憶に関してはおいおい対策を考
I'll
え
think of
と
some
く。
solutions for your memory issue.
じゃあ出かける支
For
度をして、
now,
は
get
っちゃ
ready
ん。
to head out, Archer.
召喚されたばかりで勝手もわ
Probably
から
don't
な
know
い
the
で
lay
し
of
ょ。
the land yet, do
街を
you?
案内してあげるから。
Give you a tour of the city.
出かける支度？いや、
Get ready.
そんな必要
There's
は
no
ないだ
need
ろ
for that.
う。出るのならばすぐに出られるが。
あのね、
You plan to walk
そんな
around
格好
town
で
in
出
that
歩くつもり？
outfit.
どう見て
Anyone
も普
can
通じゃ
see
な
that
い
you
し、
aren't a normal
他のマス
person.
ターが見た
And
ら
if
一
another
発でサーバ
master
ントってわ
spots
か
you,
るじゃ
they'll
ない。
know you're a servant right away.
私、自分から私は
Plan
マス
on
ターで
announcing our
すなんて言い
presence
ふら
to
す
the
気はないん
world.
だけど。
ああ、そういうことか。それも問題はない。確かに着替える必要はあるが、それは実体化している時だけでね。サーバントはもともと霊体だ。非戦闘時には霊体になってマスターにかける負担を減らす。
ああ、そっか。召喚されたって英霊は英霊だものね。霊体に肉体を与えるのはマスターの魔力なんだから、
Why?
私が魔力提供をカットすれば。
自然。我々も霊体に戻る。そうなったサーバントは守護霊のようなものだ。レイラインで繋がっているマスター以外には観測されない。もっとも会話程度はできるから偵察ならば支障はないが。
わ、便利。それじゃあ
That's
本当に
handy.
他
So
の
that
マ
would
スターを
make it
探し出すな
really
んて難
hard
し
for
い
other
んだ。
masters to locate you.
ああ。だが魔術師は魔術師を知覚できるだろう。それと同じでサーバントもサーバントを感知できる。優れた魔術を知るサーバントならば遠く離れたサーバントの位置さえ把握するだろう。
Sure has it in one. Masters are supposed to be capable mages. And the more magical energy the mage has, the better they are at detecting traces of magical energy. As far as I know, however, there isn't anyone around with that degree of power.
ふーん。
So what
De?
about you?
あんた
Can
は
you
どうな
tell
の？
where the other servants
他
are?
のサーバントの位置、わかる？
The problem is, Reen, people travel to Fuyuki for the Grail War. Like, they don't have to be from here in order to be part of the war. You can have, like, the initial markings of the command spells anywhere in the world and then just summon a servant. Like, in the previous war, there were dudes coming in from, like, England and fucking Germany and shit. Like...
マスター、私のクラスは何か忘れたのか？遠く離れた敵の位置を探るなど、騎士上がりにできるものか？
He has a point. Archer's magical energy isn't on that level. It's likely that the only magically powerful caster is capable of easily locating distant foes.
わかったわ。
Fine.
じゃあとりあえず
Then
後
follow
に
me,
ついてきて、
Archer.
あーちゃん。
I'll show you the world you've
あ
been
なたの
summoned
呼び出され
to.
た世界を見せてあげるから。
そう目新しいものではなさそうだがね。
I doubt it'll be particularly new to me.
それよりマスター、
Moreover, Master,
君、大切なことを忘れていないか？
大切なことって何？
まったく。君、まだ本調子ではないぞ。契約に。
契約において最も重要な方か。
is he demanding equivalent exchange? No, that can't be it. The chance to take part in the Holy Grail War is already reward enough for a servant. Shouldn't be anything else left to trade.
君な。朝は弱いんだな、本当に。
Archer sounds exasperated. His oh so sardonic manner of speech finally gives me an idea. Come to think of it, He's never once called me by my name.
You never gave it to him.
ああ、しまった。名前。
My name?
Yeah, you never fucking introduced yourself, you lunatic.
思い当たったか
Finally caught up.
今からでも遅くはないさ。それでマスター、君の名前はこれ
Nightfire.
からは何と呼べばいい
Archer sounds sulky. Oh man, he really is a decent person. Okay, that said, 10 o'clock.
Let's get this saved. Right there, for good measure, on February 1.
We're approaching my birthday.
Yeah, we will get there over the course of the game. So we're currently in the second day of the prologue. February 2 is the last day of the prologue. And then we get... Let's see, February 3, 4, 5, route split, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we get to your birthday, yeah, totally. Definitely.
Does it really end on the 9th
No.
instead of on my birthday?
No. It goes for like another week after your birthday, actually. No, we do actually genuinely get there. The route that we're currently on is prologue included, a total of 18 days. Which is not the longest route by any stretch. The second route goes for 19 days, prologue included, and the final route also goes for 19 days. So this is actually the shortest of the three routes, barely.
Let's see, Zed asks. So yeah, Willow, any questions so far you want to ask chat? No, not particularly. I just sometimes genuinely struggle to read because my eyes tend not to handle white text particularly well. And that's not just true of this game. If I have to read white text as opposed to text in a darker color on a light background in a text box, that's super easy for my eyes, but white is a struggle, especially when a lot of like the background behind it is also lighter in color, which is why you'll sometimes...
That is a real issue that I've found across all three of the like recent release type Moon games that I've done. Like, I had that problem frequently in Mahoyo, I've had it in Tsukihime, and it's also clearly an issue here. I don't understand this decision to like keep doing this white on white. Like, just fucking put more of an outline on, like, if you're gonna do that, right? If that's stylistically, if you want to have your white text, just have a thicker black border around the edge of the white text so that when it's on a white background, you can still fucking read it.
Yeah, because that's, like, I'm not gonna lie, the trying to read everything that's on screen is actively giving me a headache.
Yeah, I mean, oops. Whoop, okay. There we go. There is the, like, log function where, I mean, things are a little bit more legible in here. They do have like an actual background. So that helps a little bit. Also, you stumbled into it a couple times, but if we ever get to like a super sick background that you want to take a better look at, oops, not that button. You can just kind of hide the text.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that intentionally.
No, it's because you were pressing B thinking it was A. Because it's a Switch controller, and everybody's brains are kind of fucking programmed for, like, Xbox.
Also, I love the bio comments. I sometimes struggle to read. The person who picked one of the most word-dense games imaginable to spend the foreseeable future playing.
The good news is...
Bio.
She doesn't have to read much after the prologue, right? Like, this is her time to have to read. Once we get out of the prologue, it's predominantly my issue.
Also, bio, you have to remember, I know literally nothing about these games. I had virtually no way of knowing how much reading I was going to have to do with this.
It's going to be a lot for a little while, but like I said, once we're out of the prologue, it's gonna be a lot more, like the internal monologue is all going to be from a male-facing perspective, so you won't have to, worry about that as much.
Still gonna have to read dialogue, because I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah, you kind of do sometimes, just not like fluently or anything, right? So.
Yeah, like I understand, and to be fair, my ability to understand basic Japanese has hard struggled because, again, I've not been crazy about having to read subtitles lately, because eye strain. And I generally try to avoid large amounts of eye strain when and where I can.
Well, at any rate, we gotta call it for the night. So, next week, well, we probably get through day 2 at least, or day -2 at least. And maybe we even get 2 day -1. That would be kind of useful. But that's something for us to figure out next time. So, until then.
Catch you later.